We're 5 minutes late. Nice. Is someone gonna text us scores?
Oh, I think so, but let me. Who's down there? Like Liz is. Also, is Liz not playing?
I have no idea. Oh, also, if there's an injury on field, move the camera away.
Quad ball is a sport that integrates aspects from rugby, basketball, and dodgeball to create a fast-paced, mixed-gender game that features 7 players per side. Okay, so quad ball is played on a grass or turf field with 3 hoops of varying heights on each team's half.
Yeah.
There's 4 balls in quad ball, 1 quaffle, and 3 bludgers, and the players run with brooms between their legs and must complete all the play while on broom. If a player comes off broom at any point, they have to tag the center hoop on their team's half before resuming play. Alright, so there's a lot of different positions. The first 2 are chasers and keepers, known together as quaffle players. They use the quaffle, a slightly deflated volleyball, to try to score through their opponent's hoops. There are 3 chasers per team, and they wear a white headband, and there's 1 keeper per team, and they wear a green headband. The keeper is only different in they can't be interfered with in their team's keeper zone, which is an area around the hoops when they possess the quaffle. On offense, all 4 players move the quaffle by running and passing and shooting to attempt to score. A good goal can be scored from either side of the hoop, and it's worth 10 points. On defense, players can tackle each other, and we're talking full contact to prevent the other team from scoring. Beaters, distinguished by black headbands, use the bludgers, dodgeballs, in attempts to knock out the opposing team's players. Each team has 2 beaters at any given time. A player of any position that is hit by a bludger thrown by the opposing team's beaters must dismount their broom, drop the ball they possess, and tag in on the center hoop before they can rejoin play. Beaters help their quaffle players on offense to clear paths to score, as well as work to stop opposing teams from scoring. Okay, so seekers, the ones with the yellow headband, pursue the snitch runner in an attempt to grab that snitch tail from their shorts, kind of like flag football, in order to earn 35 points for their team. They don't enter the game until after the 20-minute timeout, and they leave the game immediately after a good catch has been recorded. The snitch runner is an impartial official whose sole purpose is to prevent the seekers from catching their snitch tail. They can grab, push, wrap, or run away from the seekers to stop them from catching the snitch. The snitch runner comes onto the field after the 20-minute timeout and stays until they are caught. Quad ball is played in 2 halves. The first consists of a timed 20 minutes, and the second ends only when the set score gets reached. During the first half, the quaffle players and the beaters work together to score goals and stop the other team from scoring goals. When the game clock hits 20 minutes, there's a 2-minute timeout, and that's when the seekers and the snitch runner get introduced. At the same time, they're going to determine the set score. It's determined by taking the total of the leading team's score and adding 60 points. The set score gets indicated on a scoreboard, which will be separate from the game score, and whichever team reaches the set score first either through only quaffle points or with the addition of that snitch catch, win the game. Quad ball is a sport that integrates aspects from rugby, basketball, and dodgeball to create a fast-paced, mixed-gender game that features 7 players per side. Okay, so quad ball is played on a grass or turf field with 3 hoops of varying heights on each team's half. There's 4 balls in quad ball, 1 quaffle, and 3 bludgers, and the players run with brooms between their legs and must complete all the play while on broom. If a player comes off broom at any point, they have to tag the center hoop on their team's half before resuming play. Alright, so there's a lot of different positions. The first 2 are chasers and keepers, known together as quaffle players. They use the quaffle, a slightly deflated volleyball, to try to score through their opponent's hoops. There are 3 chasers per team, and they wear a white headband, and there's 1 keeper per team, and they wear a green headband. The keeper is only different in they can't be interfered with in their team's keeper zone, which is an area around the hoops when they possess the quaffle. On offense, all 4 players move the quaffle by running and passing and shooting to attempt to score. A good goal can be scored from either side of the hoop, and it's worth 10 points. On defense, players can tackle each other, and we're talking full contact to prevent the other team from scoring. Beaters, distinguished by black headbands, use the bludgers, dodgeballs, in attempts to knock out the opposing team's players. Each team has 2 beaters at any given time. A player of any position that is hit by a bludger thrown by the opposing team's beaters must dismount their broom, drop the ball they possess, and tag in on the center hoop before they can rejoin play. Beaters help their quaffle players on offense to clear paths to score, as well as work to stop opposing teams from scoring. Okay, so seekers, the ones with the yellow headband, pursue the snitch runner in an attempt to grab that snitch tail from their shorts, kind of like flag football, in order to earn 35 points for their team. They don't enter the game until after the 20-minute timeout, and they leave the game immediately after a good catch has been recorded. The snitch runner is an impartial official whose sole purpose is to prevent the seekers from catching their snitch tail. They can grab, push, wrap, or run away from the seekers to stop them from catching the snitch. The snitch runner comes onto the field after the 20-minute timeout and stays until they are caught. Quad ball is played in 2 halves. The first consists of a timed 20 minutes, and the second ends only when the set score gets reached. During the first half, the quaffle players and the beaters work together to score goals and stop the other team from scoring goals. When the game clock hits 20 minutes, there's a 2-minute timeout, and that's when the seekers and the snitch runner get introduced. At the same time, they're going to determine the set score. It's determined by taking the total of the leading team's score and adding 60 points. The set score gets indicated on a scoreboard, which will be separate from the game score, and whichever team reaches the set score first, either through only quaffle points or with the addition of that snitch catch, win the game.
Good afternoon, quad ball fans. We are bringing the series today between the Rochester Whiteout and the Cleveland Riff. As you can see, it is a bit of a wet and rainy day, so we are likely to be seeing shorter passes, shorter shooting, more conservative beater play, and as a result, we'll probably see a bit more of a physical game than we might otherwise see from these teams. We are sorry for the delay. We had a little delay in getting the refs to the field, but we are getting ready to go. So excited for the series. We are gearing up to start. Players are heading to the line. I cannot see anyone's numbers, so I will not say who is starting.
We are quite a ways away up in a press box on this rainy afternoon.
Turns a little bit more. I can see. No, I can't see.
I see Josh Kramer, I think. I can't see who the green headband is for Rochester. I think that's Pat Callan and Josh Kramer. A line going back into history. These two, I think, played together back in 2015.
Yeah, Rochester United.
Back on Rochester United back in the day. Cody Kiefer looks to be starting as keeper, I think. But looks like we're about to have a started game.
And we're off. Looks like Rochester comes up with the quad ball, and it looks like they will also get control of the dodgeballs. Pass behind hoops, but it's wet. They can't get a hold of it. It's a little slow getting across, and the shot is low. That's that side, no good. Cleveland comes up with the ball, but Rochester retains control.
Looks like a quick chaser sub for Cleveland as 28 enters the pitch.
I think in Rochester, or his AD just came up.
Oh, I might have. I think it might have been both. I was definitely looking at the
definitely
purple.
Very slow, deliberate offense from Cleveland. Long pass behind hoops, getting it back out in front, but quick pressure, gets a quick turnover, and AD is running on the outside. Nice quick job getting around. He's got a pass across. There's the pass, and no goal. They missed the shot, and they get the follow on. That is 10-0 Rochester, but we have a stoppage. I think maybe to fix the hoop.
Yeah, it looks like a hoop went down. So who scored that goal for Rochester? Is that 86?
The furthest forward chaser there. I cannot see the number off.
Oh yeah. It looks. I think that's Ashley Wilson at the hoops. Or is it?
No, it's
86. Elizabeth McFarland Porter.
yes. Excellent.
Looks like Cleveland's going to be taking a bit of a slower approach here. Try to establish the offense, set the pace of play. Bringing up one dodgeball. But it looks like Pat Callanan's trying to force the action.
Rochester's going to press here, force that long ball. They'll force that all day because with wet conditions, it's going to be really hard to make that pass and execute.
Yeah, especially with with the height Ashley Wilson has, puts a hand up, stops that. But the beater press is also getting a lot more effective this year with the removal of resets.
Rochester's bringing it up. They're also being pretty slow, deliberate. They've got a chaser cutting behind the hoops. I think that's Ashley Wilson. Cody's looking for his options. Makes the pass behind. Oh, she can't get a handle on it. Goes out of bounds.
Yeah, the rain actually looks like it has slowed down a lot. It was pouring here earlier, but
It's still very wet though.
field is very wet on this turf.
Cleveland's walking it up nice and slow, as is their MO, it appears.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the correct strategy today.
Yeah, especially without control. Like, they need to take it slow, get control, and try to really exert that part of the game.
Yeah.
They've got this long cross. They're not going to take it. They're going to go behind the hoops. But, again, those passes are just hard to catch for people right now. They kick it back out towards the front of the hoops. They've actually got a decent shot there, but the pass is behind the hoops and is wide of the target.
Yeah. They, I think both of these teams are, used to their strategies. You have these set plays. It's pretty hard to switch it up. And also, you can't fault them too hard for saying, hey, why aren't you driving more into a two dodgeball defense?
And, I mean, that was a nice slant route. They just didn't quite make the pass.
Yeah. It is the first game of the day. If you can get these passes honed in.
Oh, aggressive beater play there. They can't quite make the catch, but they're gonna. Oh no, they dropped again. They're gonna try to pass it behind, but Cleveland spies the play. And now Rochester is forced to actually throw the second bludger back to try to retain control, which they should do here.
Yeah, and now we have our first fast break of the game. But we got a big hit, and it looks like Wilson's going to recover.
And it looks like Rochester retained control of dodgeballs as well.
Oh, did they really?
It's a bit of a scramble there, but...
Yeah, it's getting a bit scrappy.
And it looks like a beater sub for the Rochester side. Meanwhile, Rochester is really liking attacking over the top of the hoops. It hasn't really panned out so well for them so far. And in other case, those slow arcing passes are pretty easy for Cleveland to attack the receiver of. So they get the ball there. Actually, really both teams are liking that plan a lot. We'll see if they keep with it as the game progresses.
Only when the quad ball. Gonna like keep the quad ball in frame when it's far.
Cleveland's slowly walking the ball up the field. They've got a wide option left that's being spied by Rochester. They actually don't have anyone behind hoops this time so far. They've got one person slowly walking back there. And they are the open pass, so
Yeah.
we'll see if they go for it. Rochester's pressing less there, which is interesting.
Well, it could be a personnel thing. I think it was usually Callanan playing very aggressive there.
That's true. Because now it's Kramer in, and he definitely can do it, but he's less inclined to.
Yes.
But they have a soft hoop zone. They let Cleveland come in and take a risky shot. Cleveland can't execute on it, so Rochester ball.
You know, if your strategy today is saying we don't, the ball is very slippery, we question your accuracy, I think
Yeah.
that's it's a fair gamble to make.
They're just going to keep daring Cleveland to try to make long shots and long passes, and for the most part, they won't be able to hit them.
Yeah.
Nice
Ooh.
pass on the hoops, but beater's there and ready. We're seeing a lot of attempted one-handed catches, and that's probably not the way to go in this weather.
No, it's but that I see the thinking in the play. If you get that hand on that ball a bit quicker, you can get that shot off right before the dodgeball hits you.
Cleveland came up in a pretty tight little pack and then split out.
Yeah, they are going for a different strategy. Cleveland has been coming on the close side of the hoops every time.
They should be looking for this cross pass here because they're cutting into the hoop. That was the cut, but they didn't make the pass. And it's a long pass. I can understand why they held off there, but
Yeah, they may be worried about Cody intercepting it. Oh, dodgeballs are flying around. Now it looks like the time to go. And pass is a little bit high.
Rochester is fast breaking. They've got a dodgeball in the middle, cutting off and going to hoops, and that's a goal. That was, I think, Cody.
I think that was key for you.
Oh, we got a stoppage. I think just for a dodgeball going out of bounds, but let's make sure.
Yeah.
Because, man, those balls were flying all over the place.
Balls are definitely flying. All this being said, we're almost 6 minutes in. Rochester with a 20-0 lead, but most importantly has maintained possession of the dodgeballs this entire game.
Yeah, which is impressive. Especially because they're not hesitant to throw them.
No, they're at one point we saw both of the beaters from Rochester behind Cleveland's hoops. They're moving around.
Okay, we're gonna see an aggressive rush for the bludger, the dodgeball, but it doesn't pan out. And I think that was a pass attempt, but it looked like it just fell out of the quaffle carrier's hands.
Yeah, Rochester is once again at Cleveland's hoops with a dodgeball.
And the last ball is
All right, I believe. Hey. Fitz, this, I believe, is an issue. They gotta call Nick Jablonski on this one. It looks like they're using the same string key for this and the Rochester Whiteout series. Call Nick Jablonski and let him know. Because if we try and reset it for this game, it's gonna reset that string as well.
22, so came back in 2022, late winter 2022, played one tournament.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I played heat, and then just easing back into it. What? So how long have you been out?
I've been out since 2018, and I'm still out.
Yeah.
But Pitts is my best man, so I'm out here volunteering because he asked me to. So.
That's a short cord.
Yeah.
Oh no. Do we have an HDMI to HDMI port?
Not on me. No.
Okay.
It says we're gonna like override the Rochester stream. Okay.
If you bring in Josh in, then you go to your manage the South Super Series. It should be day 1.
Okay. I mean, I didn't see a South Super Series setup, so
There should be
okay.
on the YouTube page.
Yeah. So my channel. Do I click like go live or?
Yes. You don't click go live. You click create, yeah, and then go live.
Okay.
And then there should be it'll give you a whole list of them.
Oh, okay. I see it.
And there should be a South Super Series like day 1
Okay. So I just copy the string key.
from that. And that should be a different stream key than the Rochester.
Where do I put that? Where do I put that in? OBS.
So if you go into OBS, and you go to settings,
Okay. Yeah.
you can stream.
Service, YouTube. I can't see jack shit, Nick. I can't, yeah. It's like froze up on me.
So Cleveland's coming up. They've got 2 wings left and right. Right wing is likely to cut behind, I think. There's the pass behind. That is way too high. That is at the back. We do have a stoppage there. Could be something in the beater play. No, they were just stopping it to get the ball back in bounds. So Rochester with control again. Beaters are coming up. Not looking to do anything too aggressive, though, it doesn't look like. Rochester's got an option over the top. Aside from that, they've just got short options. No one's really going into the side much. They've got space. Cleveland isn't pressuring. Stepping. Oh. Good strip from Cleveland. Way to get the ball quick in that one-on-one. See the Rochester chaser trying to sneak around behind the keeper to steal the ball, but the beater spies Matt and takes him out. Cleveland's got this long pass. right by the hoop, but they really should be cutting in on that if that's what they want. They're just sort of standing there, so it doesn't look like they're trying to attack that way.
It looks like they're not trying to go behind. Nope, sorry, there is still someone behind the
Now they're
hoops.
starting to cut in.
Yeah, just a bit off frame.
There they go. There's the cut, but no pass coming on it. Another one behind the hoop. Oh, good cut in, good pass. Can't quite get a hold of it, but they get the rebound. Kick it back behind the hoops again. Lots of pressure from Rochester. That's probably gonna. Yep, that's a turnover.
I do like the alley-oop play that I think they were going for there. Try to intercept the balls that's coming towards the hoop and redirect it in.
The upside is Cleveland got control off of that.
Yeah. Yeah, control's now being traded a bit more.
Didn't quite see how, but Josh Kramer was off broom and dispossessed of the half field.
Yeah.
Rochester chaser. I think Ben Staunchman Hoop's just getting beat out because Cleveland's got time and they're gonna get rid of those options. Rochester's under a bit of pressure, not a lot, but they're looking for opportunities to try to get control back. But Cleveland's playing very conservatively with the dodgeballs. Josh Kramer is up almost in line with the hoops, but Rochester's one ball. They have to be careful because if they turn over the ball, it's going to be a quick fast break.
It is. I think Kit is looking at Kiefer. Sorry, that's not Kiefer. That's Stonish still.
Yeah. And Kit just walks in for the goal.
Much easier to walk it in than try to make that throw in this.
Yeah. I think the Cleveland beaters were hesitating there because they were scared of giving up control again. And I think they weren't sure who was throwing because they were both in line.
I think they just did. No, where's the? I only see 2 dodgeballs. No, Rochester has control again.
What's that?
Not exactly sure what happened. There's the big pass we've been seeing all day from this Cleveland offense. Comes back in, another big pass, and looks like it's going to go out of bounds.
Just trickles out. It was a good idea, it just couldn't quite get it where it needed to go.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with those big passes. Like, especially in this environment, it's hard to execute them well.
Yeah.
But Rochester is more willing to make mid-range throws than I expected in this weather. And it's forcing Cleveland to try to force stuff long.
Yeah, I think, if you get dialed in, I think the mid-range throws can still be accurate. There is also, to mention, a pretty solid wind gusting a bit today. Nothing too crazy, but definitely will also hurt some of these longer throws.
Look at how aggressive the Rochester beaters are. Coming into the keeper zone. Nice one-handed snag by Stonish.
Yeah.
Nice pass. Oh, good pressure. I think that's off broom and dropped ball. So that's a good Cleveland defensive stop.
That is. Where did control end up?
I think Rochester has it, given that Josh Kramer's attacking almost the keeper zone line.
Yeah, so I
They get
think
the ball off that.
Yeah, so this is the, if you're looking at beater
Cleveland came up with
pairings
the ball.
from Rochester, this Kramer-Callanan is going to be the most aggressive line they have.
And it's not going to be close.
No, these two have been aggressive beating. Josh Kramer coming back from 5 years away from the sport.
At least.
Yeah.
So here's Kramer coming up against keeper zone, beating a player, but there's no one to pick up the ball after the drop. But now he's got Stonish with him, and I think they're probably going to come up with the ball there, one way or another. That's a throw after the beat, I think, and probably coming back up to Rochester. Resetting. Rochester has the ball. They're gonna toss it back. They've got beaters coming in. They're gonna drive it in. Just take a shot, I think. Oh, good beat. They were a little bit slow on that play.
Yeah.
So we are just about to hit the 15-minute mark. We are at 60-10 in Rochester's favor. Low-scoring game. Kyvern's having a little bit of trouble connecting on their passes.
Yeah.
It's definitely showing, but they're getting more in rhythm, I suppose.
It's a bit of trouble on the passes, but it's also, I think both teams are choosing to play this slow, deliberate offense. And as I say that, immediately get jinxed. Rochester gets the stop at midfield and Stonish puts it through.
Great beat by Callanan and great job picking that up and running for Ben Stonish.
Yeah, Ben Stonish, one of the key contributors in Rochester's effort against the Toronto Raiders a few weeks ago, earlier this month.
That is a Cleveland timeout, I think.
Okay.
So, looking at this timeout, Cleveland is struggling a bit on the offensive side. They're forcing long passes. They had that one beautiful cut into the middle, but just couldn't quite control the ball. They are down 60 with 5 minutes until the flag runner comes on the field. And they've got to be figuring out what they're trying to do with this game and how they're getting back into it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not as bad as the first 8 minutes looked a bit rough on the dodgeball side of things. But if you're struggling with dodgeballs in the first 20, once the flag runner is on the pitch, you really, if you're down and still lacking control, it's really a big uphill battle to climb from there.
Yeah, it's just so hard to get things going when you don't have the dodgeballs and the other team is running around so aggressively with them the way Rochester is. Cleveland's starting to get more into that side of the game, getting possession, getting control, but they can't hold on to it very well. And even when they have it, they're not doing that much with it. Whereas Rochester is always coming up and pressuring pretty aggressively. So Cleveland needs to be able to punish them for that aggression.
Yeah. Yeah, Rochester beaters have had control for a surprising amount of time given the I don't know if we have I don't know if we have stats for that, but the forward percentage on these beaters. The amount of time they're spending, in the opponent's keeper zone.
I think they spend more time in Cleveland's keeper zone than their own.
Yeah.
Or they certainly had the last couple minutes at least.
But, who knows what they talked about in the timeout. They got some things to tighten up, but as much as we talk about it, Cleveland is picking up 2 dodgeballs right now. So, let's see if they can tighten things up, maybe get a few in on Rochester before we hit that 20-minute mark and set themselves up for a good flag runner on pitch.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that we see a set play come out from them on offense, given that they just took that break, and hopefully a revitalized plan after that.
Yeah. You see a beater sub from Rochester talked about during that time.
That's Josh Tomlin?
Yeah, Josh Tomlin.
So as soon as we got that break, we saw Cleveland's chaser on the outside right immediately cut to this outside side. And, clearly that was part of the plan.
Yeah. Oh, they're also taking out some of these point chasers from Rochester.
He's going to come in, and that should be an easy goal. Nice. Great job, Cleveland. And they retained control.
Yeah.
Though they had a bit of a scramble with, I think, an actual hit from the beaters to try to force possession from Rochester.
Yeah.
Pen out there.
But I do like the strategy. I think clearing out Stonish there just gives you a lot more room to drive on the hoops.
Yeah, and they need to be driving. They have to have the threat of the drive.
Yes. Yeah, if Rochester doesn't respect your drive, you're not going to get anywhere with your passes.
So Rochester's taking a bit slow. They're trying to give their beaters chances to... Yep, there it is. Rochester just picks the ball, knocks it out of the beater's hand.
Yeah.
But then they throw it away immediately. Actually, both balls, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like Callanan got beat there, so Rochester's going to limp back with only 1 dodgeball.
Yeah. Well, it was that, and I think Callanan made a throw that just trickled out the back.
Oh, yeah.
So Cleveland's bring their beaters up on the right side, looking to sweep in. Polk was also on that side. Nice easy pass square, and then back to the top of the point. Driving in. Good step. Great pass behind. Easy score. Great play from Cleveland. This is exactly what we want to see coming out of that timeout from them.
Yeah, we only have 2.5 minutes left until we get to this 20-minute mark. And this timeout seems to have done some good work for Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 2 big things that stand out to me after that timeout is we're seeing them be more aggressive with their dodgeballs without necessarily throwing them on the offensive side, as well as making shorter passes and actually executing on them.
Yes, although I think we're about to see a quick dump in from Ashley Wilson.
So where do we stand? I think we have Rochester has control of the dodgeballs and an 80-30 lead at this point. But Cleveland's starting to strike back and really get into the game a bit more, which is good to see.
So if you're Rochester here, I think you just want you want to, jump 2 minutes into the future here. You want to have these dodgeballs, which I think they immediately just lost. No.
Oh, that's an unfortunate drop.
Ooh.
Nice kick attempt. Almost panned out.
No, I think that kick attack did pan out. Because I
Oh,
think
he
if
stalled the fast break.
if Rochester grabs it there, your beaters don't have a dodgeball, and that your hoops are getting sprinted on.
Yeah,
So
no,
I think
that's definitely true.
I think that's a great kick.
Also, one other quick note. This has been a very clean game so far, which is nice to see.
Yes.
We haven't seen, I don't think, any fouls.
No. Only stoppages are timeout and some balls flying out of bounds. Oh, good hit. And Rochester's about to lose dodgeball control. Maybe?
No, all 3 balls are on the ground, but they're all towards the Rochester side, so they should come up with them.
Yeah.
But Cleveland should come up with the waffle.
That timeout that stoppage might have helped them because those balls all rolled very far towards the Rochester half
And now
court
they
net.
have time to check and see where they are.
Yes.
So, all the balls are still on the ground, so Cleveland's going to drive aggressively off of this stoppage, and they are going to get slowed down, and oh, that's unfortunate. They hit the ref on the attempted pass back.
Ooh. Always rough.
So Rochester comes up with the ball. They make a nice square pass, but aggressive beater play by Cleveland is going to get at least a stoppage and probably a turnover.
I think that
That would have been from behind.
might have been from behind. Nope, just a Cleveland ball.
No, just clean strip. I don't know what the stoppage was. I guess just checking.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So we are at 19:20, so 40 seconds until the stop. Cleveland is driving in, but they quickly get shut down by the Rochester defense. Good physicality there. Which is particularly important because Rochester did not have a dodgeball at that time. But they get the ball back. They get the stop. They get the reset. 20 seconds to stoppage. And what I want to see from Rochester is for them to get control back of the dodgeball before we go into the stop.
All right, so they're playing on borrowed time here. This will be the last offensive play before the 20-minute mark. 20-minute mark's passed, but
So all the dodgeballs are once again on the ground. Rochester's driving in. Nice goal. I think that was before the beat, but we're going to see the refs probably double check that. They are signaling that it is good.
looks good. And another thing, Rot, about the we talked earlier about Stonish putting in a lot of work against the Toronto series. Notably missing from Rochester at that series was one Cody Kiefer, and getting him back today has looked pretty promising for this Rochester squad.
So let's talk a little bit about what happened in that last play. Rochester was trying to get control back. They had both of their beaters go deep and attack the back beater from Cleveland. But as that happened, Cleveland stepped forward, attacked the quaffle, and forced movement there. And were able to turn back onto the 2 beaters who were distracted going after the second Cleveland beater, allowing Cleveland to retain control, but allowing Rochester to make a drive on the hoops and score. If you're Cleveland, how do you feel about that trade? They retained control going to the flag runner coming on pitch, but at the cost of a goal, I don't know if that's worth it for them.
Best case scenario for Cleveland is they come out strong on this flag runner on pitch, and they, using that control, they're going to immediately take a quick 35. So, best case scenario, they'll, that catch is worth, 3 goals. So, I don't know if they're I don't know if they're trying to gamble like that, but I'm not sure if I would take that, but I think it's at least worth consideration. It's not a...
I mean, at the end of the day, it looked like the beaters had faith in their chasers to make a stop, and they almost did. They just didn't quite get it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you think about, the odds that you make the stop there, the odds that you want that extra dodgeball for the flag runner on pitch, I don't think it's too bad of a trade.
So we've got the flag runner coming out. I'm not yet seeing seekers for the 2 teams yet. I think this is probably Gabe Boris, number 64 from Cleveland, but I can't tell.
It looks like Viviana Estrada from Rochester. donning the yellow headband.
Okay, so we're back into it. Rochester's up 90-30 with a set score of 150. And the Seekers are now on the field. Cleveland coming up the outside, but there's a beater challenge in there. Nice idea from Cleveland, but they can't quite make the pass. Rochester picks it off, which was well done by them. Good pressure from Cleveland to stop Rochester from being able to run with that, though. At the same time, Rochester has complete control of the flag runner and is getting some good looks.
Ball play isn't exciting, just stay in the center or the flag runner. Okay. And try to keep it in frame whenever possible. Try to keep both in frame if they're about to score. One goal.
So Rochester has a dropped pass there, which goes to another Rochester player, but they're under pressure and immediately have to toss it off, and Cleveland comes up with the ball. Cleveland now has it and is driving downfield hard. Rochester stepping up, trying to defend, and they do a good job of stopping that and slowing it down, but Cleveland makes a nice pass. The ball's on the ground, and Rochester should come up with that. Cleveland beaters are going and attacking Rochester beaters, trying to get control. It's not working out. Rochester is retaining control, and because of this, Rochester is also retaining control of the snitch, or the flag runner.
Ooh. That attempt looked a little bit close for a second. Looks like Odd Ojo is now in for Rochester.
He's getting a lot of time with the flag runner.
Getting a lot of
Lots good looks
times.
there.
And he has the reach for it.
Meanwhile, in the qualifier game, Rochester's pressing very, very high and attacking the keeper from Cleveland who has the ball. Beaters eventually come in to clear him up and give him some space to move. But immediately Josh Kramer stepping up with the bludger and pressuring.
Ooh, there's a... Looks like Cleveland's gamble's paid off. Looks like we have a potential catch. I didn't see many beaters in sight, so I'm going to guess that one's good, but we'll wait for the official call.
It seems highly likely to be good. Unless he grabbed the snitch or something. Or the flag runner. I didn't see that, so...
As good commentators, it's time to overanalyze the facial expressions that we can't see in the body language. They're talking for a decent bit of time, so not sure what the call would be, but it's looking like they're talking about something. Oh, catch is good. Okay.
Okay, now we got a game. Cleveland is down 65-90, but that is a lot better than they were like 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, and
we've actually seen no goals in the less beater-filled quaffle game, which has been interesting.
yeah. And so either way, we got a game ahead of us. 6 goals needed for Rochester, 9 for Cleveland. So sit back and relax. We got we got more quad ball ahead of us.
So right after that pull, Cleveland was pushing in and made a shot, which I think they decided happened after the stoppage, as Cleveland reset with the ball.
Yes. I think that's what
Rochester
happened.
gets a nice stop there, comes up with the ball.
Keeper's looking to move up a bit.
He's taking it slow, not trying to force anything here.
We'll see. Rochester has been without possession of these dodgeballs for a while.
Yeah, I think
Or they they have them now.
So Rochester's offensive set, they've got Ashley behind the hoops, and Kiefer can definitely make that throw, which he does.
Ooh,
But she can't hold on to the ball,
that looked a little bit high.
which You can understand why, because Ashley is very tall, has great reach,
Ashley is very tall.
but a little bit too high.
Yeah. Yeah, this Rochester team used to be known as a bit lacking in the height department, but has definitely overhauled over the years. A lot of young talent. Used to be a very RIT heavy team. Now is pretty heavy on the University of Rochester side.
Nice defensive beat there. Rochester's got the quaffle, looking downfield, seeing a dodgeball right in front of their face, deciding not to drive quite yet. But good cut coming behind the hoops here. Are they going to look for it? They are not. They're just going to drive it in and try to score.
Kiefer's
There it
driving
is.
on a
Oh, was
lot.
that no good? Nope, that was good.
I think the hoop may have been dislodged.
So hoop was dislodged. Reset to keeper in front of the hoop. There are no dodge balls threatening him, I don't think.
There is one about 15 feet away,
But
but
it's on the ground.
no. The Cleveland beater does have one.
Oh, in the back corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll have to throw through the hoops and a bunch of their teammates to make that throw if they try that.
Well, they'd really have to get the wrap and then the dodgeball to finish him off.
Okay, so nice easy goal.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Cleveland should be able to get to this close bludger or dodgeball and retain control there.
Yeah.
Josh Kramer's got the one dodgeball for Rochester on that side, so Cleveland doesn't have a chance to make fast break here and it's just going to sub off. Which I think that might have been a full line change.
I think that was a full line change, which makes sense because I think that's their first sub after flag runner. So they come in with one set strategy for that, the very different game that was happening for those 2 minutes.
Right. Oh, that's a great hit by Rochester beater.
Oh, it looks like goes off broom in the process.
Yeah, it's a shame because if their partner had been in a position to step up without risking the quaffle being able to drive, it would have been easy to get possession there, but they were being pinned down by the threat of the drive.
Yeah. Cleveland playing this nice and slow. There's the play. Josh Kramer makes the block, and ball flies up. I think Rochester's going to recover this, but do they
No,
get
Cleveland
control?
gets it.
No. Josh Kramer goes for the long snipe.
Great. I think that was a pass, but we're going to call it a great.
Yeah, if it's a pass through the hoops, we'll call it a great shot. And I think I just gave that to the wrong team.
Yep.
Yeah, 175. Oh, it looks like there was a yellow card earlier that was negated by the goal.
Great block there. Oh, that's going to be a slide. Contact below the knees, I think.
Think so, or maybe just a stoppage, make sure everything's okay. Kiefer's getting up. Russ will talk it out. But yeah, far cry from the 1070 game we saw earlier. Cleveland has really come back into this.
I'm actually a little surprised that's the first time we've seen someone just slip and go into someone's leg so hard today.
Yeah, these players have done a pretty good job of
Staying on their feet.
Yeah, staying on their
in
feet.
Control of their movement.
not.
Oh no, there's a card.
Yeah, there's the yellow card.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I saw that one coming.
I was a little surprised because I saw him run off and then run back, and I was like, oh, maybe he's good.
Yeah. Yeah, reckless slide is
So
the
let's see
yellow
if
card.
Rochester immediately looks for this pass by the
I think Cody's
he's
just
gonna-
taking this.
No.
Oh,
driving dish.
there he
Love to
is.
see it. Callan gets beat on the back side of that. I don't think he had a ball in the first place. But now Cleveland can drive. That's a nice goal.
Quick trade of goals.
Now, where are the dodgeballs? Rochester gets control back off of that, it looks like. Yep, Kramer's got the second ball.
Rochester is pretty happy to trade goals like that.
Yeah, because they are much closer to ending the game in their favor.
Yeah, but Cleveland did a great job with someone in the penalty box there.
That's true. Yeah, it's one of those weird cases where both teams have a reason to be kind of happy about how that sequence of play went.
Yeah, neither team's too upset. That was another goal from Rochester's, bringing this game inching it a bit closer. 3 goals left for Rochester.
And that goal was just the Rochester beaters creating space and Rochester being able to dance in and finish it off with that.
Yeah,
Very aggressive beating, which has worked well for them when it's worked. It's just they've been punished for it a couple times.
I think that's really what defined Rochester in the first 8 minutes when they're, doing a great job getting up to 70-10. I think a lot of that was defined by this aggressive beating, clearing space, and making lanes.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
But we got some dodgeballs on the ground, a big
Oh.
pass. It goes far. Cleveland. Did
That did not. Oh, did that cross?
Was that a stoppage?
I thought so.
It was right next to that yellow cone, which I think is the mid marker, and I think we are saying it
It
did not. Then what was okay? And Rochester recovers anyway. Oh, but there's a beat on Josh Kramer. This chaser's not going to have the beater support he's used to,
Oh no!
and the pass is a bit over the top.
I
Sorry,
think that was a shot.
That was definitely a shot. There was no one behind it.
That's awkward. That was a great opportunity by Rochester, but they couldn't quite finish.
No, and going for the middle hoop does that sometimes.
Sometimes you just got to put your arm through the hoop.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming out of that, Josh Kramer running out to get this bludger on the side. Rochester does not have a bludger. He's throwing back to Pat and gets it there before the waffle.
Ooh.
But that long pass is risky.
Ooh, looks like a bit of a collision from Callanan.
So we've got to stop what you play. We've got one
Yeah,
dodgeball.
It looks like we might have an injury here. Looks like Callanan tripped over a player. Hope everything's okay. Looks like he's walking off, so probably just a quick sub.
Yeah, it could easily just be like blood substitution.
Yeah.
So where do we stand after that stoppage? We've got a loose ball on the ground behind the hoops on the right side. We've got another one on the far sideline. I do not know where the third dodgeball is. Oh no, Callanan's got it. And then Cleveland beater at their hoops has one, so no fast break opportunity there.
Rochester's still looking for 3 more. Putting in the options both sides of the hoops. Callanan in the middle, getting a bit aggressive.
Aggressive defense from Cleveland, but keeper's able to get in. Nice beat there. Rochester comes up with the ball, but no passing options. Good defensive stop by Cleveland. That should be...
Yeah, Cleveland should recover this once they got the dodgeball there.
Yeah. Because if they had gotten it off to Kiefer, maybe he could have done something, but Cleveland did a good job of making sure that didn't happen.
Yeah. It's like Rochester will have time to set up, get those 2 dodgeballs in position where they want them, and get that point chaser up ready to stall things out.
Rochester challenged high, but is letting them cross half now.
Yeah, maybe different in what the personnel wants.
That was an aggressive pick by Cleveland.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like we now have Shaw and Tomlin in as Rochester's beaters.
And Rochester's pinning this bludger here, or dodgeball here, very intelligently. Which should allow Rochester to drive on this, but great defense from Cleveland shutting it down.
Yeah, that's good rap.
So we are getting close to 30 minutes at a score of 120 to Rochester to 85 for Cleveland with a set score of 150. So Cleveland needs another 7 goals before Rochester gets 3. Things are getting tighter, and we're starting to see scrappier defense as we get close to the finish. Rochester's pressuring high, but the dodgeball will create some space there. That Cleveland long pass, they've got a cross, they take it.
Oh, I think they're going for the alley-oop there.
I think so. They just didn't have the space to do much else.
Yeah. I think just quick stoppage. Dodgeball's rolling out of bounds. Just scoop that right back in.
So Rochester's coming up field. Where are the dodgeballs? Rochester beater looking to clear a path. Right past the hoop. Great finish. It was a nice play from Rochester. The only downside of it is that they threw the ball opposite of the way the chaser was cutting, so he had to catch it, turn around, and go back the other way to finish.
Yeah.
Which he had time and space to do, luckily.
See, Rochester. Oh, great pick off from Glachowski.
What was funny is he got a hand on it and was clearly ready to sprint, and then didn't actually come up with the ball.
Yeah.
But he knocked it down, and his team came up with it. And I like that he's thinking about what he's doing next as soon as he makes that play.
Yeah.
Rochester kicks the ball behind the hoops. They should have someone cutting to the far hoop, which they do now, but it's picked up. They're setting a pick. They should.
Power gets the ball knocked out. Shaw's on top of it.
Resets to hit. He's got another option behind the hoop if he wants it, which Cleveland is starting to pick up. He's just going to walk it in. There it comes. There's the shot. No. Oh, no. It is good.
Okay. Yeah. Still not quite walking it in. Gets 5 feet away and rips a full-powered shot.
Look, he needed a breather. He needed to stop as they bring the ball back.
That's where the ball's going to?
Or what was it called? No? Or is that just the keeper?
That's the keeper.
No, that's the keeper. Okay.
Oh, so it really doesn't pay to rip that full-powered shot. You'd want it to trickle so it doesn't go out of bounds.
Yeah, which has almost always been the case in the history of the sport. But
Except in the you still have the play where you run behind the hoops and rip it towards your own hoops to maximize the time.
that's true. Ooh. Nice play by Cleveland there. I think they're probably going to come up with dodgeball control. I'm not quite sure what the stoppage is. Oh, okay. I may have spoken too soon.
Where'd the dodgeball's at?
So we've got one dodgeball with Cleveland beater there that they tried to throw back to grab this green dodgeball. I think they threw it after the whistle, so they just get it back and there's no penalty there.
Oh.
And then we've got, is this?
Well, I think Rochester has. Oh, yep. There's 1, and there is 2. But remember, Rochester has the quad ball. This goes through the hoops. This is the game. And it looks like it's not going to happen this play.
Also, Rochester got very lucky with Kit happening to duck that bludgeon from behind.
Sometimes you just got to throw in a duck, keep your enemies guessing. Cleveland coming up, they can't get fast broken on here, but they got to score 70 goals before Rochester gets 1.
Yeah,
So
they're in a tough spot.
they got to be aggressive, make risky plays, and hope it pays off.
Nice beat. We've got a window here. I think they should be looking to have their chaser run hoop cut in to receive a pass, but they were too far out to be a real threat. They get the ball there. Oh, beater misses the throw. And that's a goal.
Nice.
Good job, Cleveland. At the same time, we're gonna have a stoppage here because that dodgeball has made it to the edge of the track.
Oh wow, yeah, that made okay. I couldn't even see it. It is several camera widths away. As Shaw takes the slow walk back.
You know something went wrong when the beater has to go by the high jump pit to go get a ball.
140.95. Rochester with the quad ball, with only one bludger. At this point, they could trade away this quad ball for 2 bludgers. Oh wait, sorry, they have 2 bludgers.
Yeah, if I'm Rochester, I'm willing to play pretty aggressive here because I just want this game to be over so I can rest before the next one.
Oh yeah, they want
Nice. Oh,
Yeah, good beat from Cleveland.
Rochester's still trying to apply pressure here.
We said we'd like them to be aggressive, and they're definitely being aggressive here.
I like the short, quick passes, but they were close enough together that the same beater was still threatening both people.
Yeah.
It didn't produce that much value.
No.
Like, if you do it a second later and make the beater commit first, then you're good. But I like the attempt.
Oh, there's a good beat from Cleveland. But the ball is up. Can they recover it? I want to
keep that in.
say...
Oh,
Nope.
I guess not.
I think they run slightly out of bounds there. Pass to Powpour. Cleveland have a
dodgeball
Yes.
back on the left side here.
But they also have a 30. Yeah, it's Christian.
Aggressive beat coming in from Rochester, trying to clear a lane. They got the drive, and they tip it off the top of the hoop.
Oh,
They-
can Ojo stop it before it goes
Ojo
out?
Keeps it in.
Great.
Nice pass, but beater is there.
Ooh.
Oh, the ball's on the ground. He's going to come up with it again. Maybe?
Yeah, we talked a lot about how you got to be scrappy to win in the rain, and Ojo is showing some real scrap here.
Yeah. I mean, second chance opportunities are huge, and Rochester has tended to come up with a couple more of them this game, I think.
Yeah, I think so. They're getting more of the rebounds.
Aggressive pressure up here. He doesn't have a good passing option, so that's just going to be a Rochester ball. Great job by the Rochester defense there. But Cleveland is going to return the favor immediately. So Rochester got this long pass option, but Peter is definitely spying that.
Yeah.
Good pressure.
Oh,
Oh, that's
Kramer's got
going
a...
to be a turnover. He can't throw there because no one will pick it up. Did they just reset it into the keeper zone by accident?
Oh. I don't think so.
I think
They did.
Oh no.
Bukowski with the ball.
He's got one beater way out here on the left. I think he's got another beater in front of him though. No, it
It's
doesn't
about
look
the
like he
physical
does.
defense.
Oh,
That
he
was
shot that so high.
so high.
There might have been illegal contact on that hit on him. Hard to tell. Or no, they're probably just bringing the ball back in.
I think they're just bringing the ball back in. Yeah, ball's very slippery. But prefer it if you go for one of the other hoops. Don't aim
No,
for
they,
that.
they are resetting it to Rochester, I think. Am I seeing that right? Yeah. Did somebody get carded though?
No, I don't know what happened.
But there's 2 beaters here now.
Rochester has 2 bludgers next to this ball, but there's the chaser. Ojo comes and picks it up.
Great beat by Kramer, getting control, creating a lane. Goes in. I think that was over the top again. I think they've shot over the top of the hoop on their last 4 shots.
Rochester does not seem to want this game to end. Maybe they're becoming accustomed to the rain. They want Cleveland to I don't know. I'm not gonna continue that bit.
So very deep pressure from Kit. He's kind of on an island here. He doesn't have help, but he's creating pressure, forcing them to throw the ball away. Great job by him.
Okay, so probably get a stoppage play. Nope, ref's not going to bother. I'm a fan. Let's just keep it moving.
Let the kids play.
Let the kids play. But I'd prefer it if the kids, finish this one up and we could start moving on to the next one.
You're not excited for the grit and grind Cleveland Riff to
I don't,
bring it back? They just need 6 straight.
call me a doubter, but I think we have been about 8 minutes without a goal.
We've got scramble there, but Cleveland's going to come up with the ball. And I think, did they get bludgers off of that? Or dodgeballs? I think they had it briefly.
Briefly. Dodgeballs are flying left and right. Controls moving back and forth.
No one actually possesses them most of the time.
No. But it does look like 15's sorry, not 15. There's a...
It's a weird possession, but Rochester's coming up with the ball. Someone gets tackled with the ball nowhere in sight.
Okay, Palpour has the quad ball. Kramer is getting aggressive. Wants to put this away. Got an aggressive beat coming up.
That should be that.
And there we go.
Also, did we see Rochester Chaser coming up and trying to force the Cleveland Chaser off of the short hoop to free up the shot?
We're not a fan of the big hoop. So I'm a fan.
Yeah. That's one way to deal with the hoop zone.
Yeah. But that will do it for our first game.
Yeah. Sorry.
So that'll do it for our first game. Our second game will come up once we give these teams a break. I'll throw it on stream once we have a time, and we'll let you know when it is. But until then, sit tight. There'll be more quad ball action coming to you.
Quad ball is a sport that integrates aspects from rugby, basketball, and dodgeball to create a fast-paced, mixed-gender game that features 7 players per side. Okay, so quad ball is played on a grass or turf field with 3 hoops of varying heights on each team's half. There's 4 balls in quad ball, 1 quaffle, and 3 bludgers, and the players run with brooms between their legs and must complete all the play while on broom. If a player comes off broom at any point, they have to tag the center Quad ball is a sport that integrates aspects from rugby, basketball, and dodgeball to create a fast-paced, mixed-gender game that features 7 players per side. Okay, so quad ball is played on a grass or turf field with 3 hoops of varying heights on each team's half. There's 4 balls in quad ball, 1 quaffle, and 3 bludgers, and the players run with brooms between their legs and must complete all the play while on broom. If a player comes off broom at any point, they have to tag the center hoop on their team's half before resuming play. Alright, so there's a lot of different positions. The first 2 are chasers and keepers, known together as quaffle players. They use the quaffle, a slightly deflated volleyball, to try to score through their opponent's hoops. There are 3 chasers per team, and they wear a white headband, and there's 1 keeper per team, and they wear a green headband.
And welcome back. We're about to start game 2 of the Cleveland Riff versus Rochester Whiteout, and I think we're too late to go to the booth, so we're throwing you straight to the game. So Rochester take the lead in game 1. See if Cleveland can look to bounce back here.
Cleveland notably was looking much, much better in the second half of the game, so we'll see if they keep that momentum coming into this one. Cleveland gets the ball and the dodgeballs coming off at the start. So a great start for them, the opposite of what we saw last time.
Yeah, first game started off with Rochester holding possession of both of those dodgeballs for the first 8 minutes. So we'll see if things work a bit differently when they don't have those.
Cleveland's got 2 deep passing options behind the hoops. They're running 1.5, it looks like.
Ooh, wow.
Over the top. Nice catch, go over again, and that should be a goal. Great start for Cleveland.
Wow, if that's their adaptation this series, we're about to see a very different look than I expected.
So Rochester bring the ball up. Looks like Ashley's got the ball. Keeper's cutting behind the hoops. She's got short options on the left and right. Rochester attempts to force a long beat and do not connect. Rochester tries to make a slant cut, does not hold the ball. Cleveland comes out with it. And looks like Cleveland holds on to the dodgeballs through that. And then take a quick beaters up. Cleveland's chaser beats the point defender and tosses up a long ball, which, I think that was probably a beat before. But that's one of those awkward cases where the defensive chaser was watching their mark and not watching the ball and just gets hit with it.
Sorry about the audio. I was trying to change a setting now. I think I messed something up.
Oh, are we audible again? I assume. Great catch by Rochester Peter. So Rochester comes back, gets up on the scoreboard, and gets bludger control, dodgeball control.
All right, so 2010, Cleveland, liking their lead, did not have that at any point in game 1. It feels different, playing behind for so long versus taking the lead.
Cleveland is really liking these long passes. Now that's not actively raining, they're actually connecting on them.
Yeah, went from a bit of a downpour to a light drizzle.
So aggressive beating coming in, they're trying to clear a lane, they've got it, and there's the goal.
Wow, Cleveland's starting strong.
Got a stoppage, which I think is just to get this bludger back from the football field's end zone.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see a timeout from Rochester coming up after these 3 quick ones.
I mean, if it keeps going the way it's going for even another minute or 2, I would think that they'd have to stop it.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what they're doing. We're going to see a fast break here from Rochester, which I think is almost certainly going to pan out.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, that's a great defensive stop.
And it looks like
Cody's not tossing it off. I don't know. He's just going to try to make a short pass, a little bit over the top. And the receiver can't quite get a hold of it.
Yeah, call that timeout. Something's happening. Cleveland's taking a slow walk, using their bludgers pretty defensively.
Rochester beater challenges high, gets beat, is out. Cleveland's resetting to the key and is looking for this pass, probably behind hoops on the right. We'll see that chaser probably cut in. They're open. There's the pass. Oh, no, picked off.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Yeah, so Ashley Wilson gets the stop, drops the broom. Bit of a scuffle. Rochester's going to keep it together there, but that was almost a free goal.
yeah, that was very dangerous for them. After what was a great stop initially.
Yeah. Cody skips thinking about midfield, goes straight to the keeper's own line.
Patrick Callanan takes out a bunch of beaters on the way in, and then they make kind of a death ball pass over the top to someone triple covered.
Yeah. Yeah, Cleveland started this game. They came in with this long shot strategy and they're seemingly pretty accurate with it. Meanwhile, Rochester's struggling on these short passes.
Yeah, which is interesting because they were connecting pretty well in the first game. They're just not hitting that.
No.
Cleveland spreading out. They've got a pass behind the hoops, which is picked up. They've got a square pass actually right into the hoop. Beautiful throw, beautiful catch. Rochester gets there in time to shut it down and will get a stop there.
Wow. If that was half a second quicker, that's an easy goal.
Yeah. I mean, a great idea by Cleveland. It didn't quite pan out this time, but you can easily see what they're looking
It does
for.
look like it left them a little bit susceptible to the fast break, and Rochester's going to take advantage of that.
And Rochester is also going to... Oh, no. Great kick right before the beat will probably keep dodgeball control for Rochester.
Yeah, Pat Callanan picking one up, throwing it back to Kramer.
Great over to Kramer, knowing that he was about to get beat there. Cleveland's taking a beater sub, advancing up a little bit slowly. Beater's pressing up and gets taken out by Callanan. Lots of pressure there. They reset to the key. Long throw is in.
You know, maybe without this rain, Rochester's strategy of giving Cleveland the lane for these long shots might not be looking so hot anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they've been daring them to shoot all series, and now they're hitting.
Yeah. My apologies. Time's a bit inaccurate. We're at 5:26 on the clock. Cleveland with a 2-goal lead. But overall, a bit of a higher scoring game, I think, than the first 5 minutes we saw earlier today. Kiefer's going to be walking up with the ball. We've got one dodgeball coming up. Cleveland's playing tight to hoops with their dodgeballs. Oh, sorry, 2 dodgeballs coming up. That would explain it.
Pass over the top. Nice catch, but I mean, they just flipped the field there. Oh, nice drive in and finish.
Okay. Bit of a personal outplay, I'd call it there. Rochester didn't exactly have the best offensive setup, but sometimes you can make it up with a bit of skill and finesse. You know, it's interesting. Rochester likes moving to the center, but Cleveland just picks left or right. They really like attacking from the sides.
I mean, they really like the long swing passes, so they want to pull Rochester to one side so that they have an opening on the cross field.
Yeah, you're right. It looks like they got, I think that's 23. I think that's Fiona Gaffney is looking to crash into one of these hoops.
I'm surprised they didn't throw that pass because they had a window for it, and now
Yeah.
it's closed. I think they should go back to her now, which they do. Pass is a little... We've got a player down. Looks like something's wrong with their leg, maybe?
Yeah, maybe, you know, we talked a lot earlier. It is wet conditions. Not sure if that was contact or just something else happening, but,
I'm a little surprised they stopped the play when they did.
you know, I didn't really see what was happening.
Yeah, it was just passing to the hoops, and
Oh, yeah.
it was going... Possession was either going to Rochester one way or the other in about half a second.
Yeah. But, you know, better safe than sorry. We'll see what happens. We are 6 minutes in, 7 goals on the board. And I wonder how this game is gonna pan out from here. We saw, bit of a few different strategic adaptations so far. Kind of expected the Rochester timeout after the 30-10 earlier, but looks like Rochester's clawed it back to a respectable 10 point
they're
deficit.
stabilizing, which is interesting because it doesn't feel like they've made a major adjustment.
No, it doesn't feel like they're doing anything differently. They're just the ball's going through the hoop.
Yeah, I mean, the one adjustment, I guess, is that Cleveland keeps making these these long swing passes, and Rochester has barely been in time to stop them the last couple times.
Yeah, it could be that everything's playing out, the same strategies clashing against each other, but, the pass is a second earlier, half a second later, and, the outcome is, if you look at it results based, it's either you score or you didn't score, but there's a lot more that happens to that.
Yeah, I mean, the big question to me is whether or not Rochester is trying to bait those passes, because they've managed to stop them the last couple times, but it's been way too close for them to be comfortable, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, we can hypothesize all we want. We don't know what these teams are actually trying to do. Kind of just making some guesses. But it is interesting to see how Cleveland and Rochester play their defense so differently right now with their beaters. When Cleveland only has one of their dodgeballs, they're keeping them right tight to the hoops. And Rochester, you think even with one, is still willing to play it a bit loose.
Yeah, I mean, Rochester's beaters really want to use that transition chance to get a stop, get a turnover, get control. They're very comfortable letting the chasers find them, try to make hits and slow things down.
Yeah.
Which works out for them some of the times, but sometimes gets them into trouble.
Yeah, Rochester is a team that's, been known for its physicality for a long time. And the beaters are, used to letting the chasers play the chaser game.
So as we kick back off, Cleveland has control of the dodgeballs. Rochester has the ball. We have Cody Kiefer slowly walking upfield, and he's got an outlet pass cutting to the far right hoop.
Shaw's going behind the hoops, looking to make a play on the dodgeball. Gets beat. Now Cleveland's got free reign, so Rochester's got to make this quick. Ooh, bit of a miscommunication.
Great idea, but that cut just wasn't there.
Well, I think the cut was going for in front of the hoops, and the pass was going behind the hoops.
Yeah, which is not a great cut necessarily, because it means you have to throw over the top of the hoops or try to throw through them. Like, you really want that cut to be on the same side of the hoop.
Yeah, it's hard. If the pass comes out a bit later than you expect, do you just stop?
Honestly, yeah. Like, you can't stay there for long, but, like, in motion, you've got to be able to make that decision to play. But I digress. We've got Cleveland coming back up. They've got good ball movement in the key, looking for that outside pass, which they do have. They kick it back out. Rochester rotates. Nice pass goes up. I think that dodgeball connected, so Rochester comes up with the ball. That was dangerous, though.
That was a bit dangerous. Dodgeballs are flying in the middle. Cleveland had 2 and now only has 1. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I think that's Tomlin just made a play.
You could also see Callanan looking up, I think it was Tomlin looking upfield, trying to decide whether or not he could create a fast break, and then realizing that there's a Cleveland defender behind slowing down the ball.
Oh. Wilson goes to the short hoop, gets stuffed. Rochester's just going to take their exit with 2 dodgeballs. Yes, they will still take their exit with 2 dodgeballs. Though they're not in position. If Cleveland wants to run in it, no, they don't.
Well, the problem is Cleveland's third dodgeball was over on the sideline out of play that they were having to recover.
Yeah. Let's see. Gaffney is in position for the break to the middle hoop we've seen so many times this series. Lombardi likes the big fakes. Lombardi's kind of rebelling against the Cleveland side offense, taking it to the middle. But I don't know what just happened. It looks like we just need a sub.
Yeah,
I
I suspect it's probably blood.
All right, keeping it safe, keeping it moving. Is Lombardi moving to the right side? Yeah, he doesn't like the middle either.
So what Lombardi wants is really to get into one-on-one with the defender, beat them, and then crash with his cutters going out, having opportunities to pass, or for him to shoot. He's just going to take that over the top. Oh, A little bit off and it dribbles out of bounds.
Yeah, I don't really like the move, because it kind of leaves Gaffney in a weird position for a bit there.
It does, and also those over-the-top passes are tricky just because they're relatively slow and give the beaters time to come in and break them up.
Yeah. I was like, neither team has had great success with the over the tops this game.
No, they really haven't. I mean, much better than last game, but still.
Yeah.
We say as Rochester lines up to try to do it again.
Rochester immediately creates chaos in the dodgeball game. Big pass coming
Great
across.
pass. I think beat before, yep, beat before. Oh. Oh, he's
There are-
gonna get there.
There are dodgeballs flying all over the place. I think 2 are in possession.
Lily
Yeah.
does a great job of getting the ball out before being dragged out of bounds there.
Tomlin has to make a decision. He has to leave control, because if he wants to make a stop on Lombardi here.
Which is the right play. Like, they can't afford to let this go through. Good defensive pressure, but that's... Oh, he can't control it.
I mean, I say he can't let it go through, but that dodgeball did not make it contact, and Lombardi's going to put it through.
Yeah. We have a little stoppage to probably get the balls back in play.
Yeah, the dodgeball flew very far off the pitch.
So, looking at this game so far, Cleveland's offense looks much, much more cohesive. They're more comfortable in the drive. They're hitting their long passes. They're getting their swing passes. They're making their shots. How does Rochester respond to this? Cleveland looks better in every aspect of their offense.
Yeah.
Rochester's taking a quick sub. They're walking the ball up pretty slowly to give themselves time to get back on the field. They're actually playing their one dodgeball pretty close to the chaser. So they're trying to control that, create a bubble of space for him. They pass behind the hoops. They're going to have to reset that into the key probably.
I think Pau Porter's going to take a shot, if I can make a guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of... Oh, he gets it. Okay.
Okay. Doesn't really even need the shot. It was a bit of a 5-footer. But, well, I think last game was a 60-point game for Rochester. They were up 9 in the quad ball game, but 6 of them came from that opening 8 minutes where Rochester just maintained control and Cleveland looked a bit lost.
Yeah, without that 7-10 or 70-10 lead at the beginning to give them padding. The second half of the game did not go all that well for them.
No, and especially the last 6 minutes, Rochester is struggling to get that final goal. So I think Cleveland's figured something out. Maybe a bit too late for game 1, but just in time for game 2.
Oh, Cleveland went for their patented swing pass, but a little low and dribbled out of bounds. Well, one of the things people always forget is that when the ball is slippery and the ground is wet like this, the ball bounces very, very differently than it does normally.
Yeah.
It'll slide a lot further, a lot faster. I think we've actually seen people miscalculate that bounce quite a few times so far today.
I think so. So Kit was able to work some magic last play. Definitely in the scrap, got the rebound, made things work. Let's see if Rochester wants to try to go for it again. One dodgeball is far behind the hoops. If Shaw can make a play, ooh, great jump. And Rochester's, yep.
That's a decision. Rochester had to not make that throw after losing that dodgeball.
Yeah, that is the worst of both worlds, and Lombardi's going to put it through for a quick one.
Although Shaw's going to make a play on the backside. Oh, Cleveland kept their head and is going to keep that dodgeball.
Yeah, hitting a moving target, that force is going to have its equal and opposite reaction. Shaw's going to get it back. They're going to have to stall out this offense. Probably a quick beat on Lombardi, get him out of here. So Cleveland is not looking to force Rochester to make this play. So Rochester could shot clock it, store it out, wait for their beater to get back, but they don't seem to have any interest in doing so. That is a pass after a beat.
Way after beat.
Yeah. That's just going to be, I think, a ball going right back over to Cleveland. And is Rochester's defense might not be ready for this. Are we going to see a second fast break?
We've got a loose dodgeball there, which Rochester's going to pick up and bring to middle, so I think they should be okay.
Yeah, Cleveland doesn't look too interested in the fast break.
It is interesting that Cleveland doesn't feel any need to pressure there, though. Like, Rochester's making enough mistakes that they're just giving them the space to do it.
Yeah, Cleveland is playing their dodgeballs tight. They don't want to give up control, but Rochester's not really taking too much advantage of that time.
It's interesting because Rochester is also playing two sort of deep chasers behind the hoops or at the hoops, and then two who are up top. And they're not using the second chaser up top to try to create space and opportunities.
No. We'll see how this is going to work. And
That's just a drive in and probably an easy goal. Yeah.
And, you know, it was a 40-30 game. Rochester brought it back in, and suddenly that's 3 unanswered goals. Or 2 unanswered goals. 50-40.
What's Rochester going to do here? They did get control back on that last play, which obviously they're much more comfortable with having. They kicked the ball back behind the hoops, but Chaser's already there to defend. They're going to go for a kick, but they're setting it kind of the wrong way because it just gets them to the outside, which doesn't give them a better position.
Yeah, and it is interesting
They're going to
because
throw it back to Kit over the top, but it's too high.
and that's we got to see Rochester bring the dodgeballs up on offense for the first time in a while, but they really don't have their mojo with it. You know, in their original lines, we're seeing Rochester bring it up, two beaters in the keeper zone, slinging dodgeballs. This time, they're kind of just working as deterrents. You know, kind of stationary turrets, standing still. They're not really threatening to throw too much on offense. They're kind of just acting as zones where their chasers can be safe.
So Cleveland's got this chaser planted behind the hoops again, cutting in there. Oh, there's the pass to the outside instead.
You know, I like the idea.
I like the idea. I actually would have loved to see the pass direct to the person cutting to the hoop, though.
See,
Rochester's trying to run on this.
Kramer's back in with some aggression. We'll see how he can do.
He takes
Palport,
the short. Oh, can't quite get it to land. Kid is very much playing shot first here. I'm not sure that's the right call because he's weaving some in, but he's struggling. Like, things are getting deflected. Cleveland is playing a very tight zone, and it makes it hard to take those shots.
yeah, you know, sometimes when you hit some of those shots, you want to shoot more.
Yeah, he's trying to heat check, and it's not panning out.
No.
So we're going to see another pass behind the hoops here, I suspect. Over the top there. Yep, there it is. Although that is very high.
And a bit high. We're going to see a quick stoppage. Get this ball back in play.
So Rochester has controlled the dodgeballs. Let's see what they can do with it this time. Kids posting up on the hoops on the left, and they've got a deeper option back in the middle.
Optin with the quad ball. Ooh, is he making a play?
Driving in, looking for
No.
something. He's going to kick it behind the hoops again.
I like the threat,
Look to
though.
Kit. Reset it. Back across. Good. Someone take that shot. Ooh.
Ooh! Who was that? That was a. I love the fight it through the hoop there. I cannot tell who that was. Trying to peek through our rain-covered windows. You know, save the good view for the stream.
Rochester pressuring high. Peter coming to clear out the point defenders. Nice pass into the corner there, but there isn't really a line there. They might go over the top again, but it hasn't really been working out so well, so they'll just reset to the key. Coming back into the corner. They're getting some space there, but Rochester is keeping a hand in front of their face and denying the shot and the drive. Putting out to the wing, they're looking to kick it back out behind. Great pass, and that's going to be a goal.
Yeah, you know, I'm liking the patient offense from Cleveland.
Yeah, I especially like them kicking to the wing and then swinging it behind rather than trying to go over the top.
Yeah.
So Rochester bringing it off the outside. They've got one beater in front, creating space for the quaffle carrier, and then their second beater is across field. looking to get behind the Cleveland beater. They take him out, so there are no bludgers in their way. They are free to drive. Oh, but they sort of just dropped that pass. Coming for a second shot, and this one they oh, that went over the top. Recover it behind the hoops, and there is still no beater. We have a whistle or something.
Entirely sure what that's about. I have a player on the ground.
Is that they're sending the ball back there? I guess.
Quad, yeah. So they're saying throw was after. So quad ball's going back over to Hopton.
He should drive this hoop, although there is a bludger there now. Dodgeball there now. And
Ooh.
they just sort of tossed it out of bounds by accident. Now, all three dodgeballs are on the Rochester side. They could pull something funny by not picking up that ball, which they do.
Oh, because Kramer hadn't picked it up yet. Okay.
The downside of that is they have to sprint to get back in position for this. Oh, great beat. Rochester needs to run on that.
Where is the
one dodgeball coming back in is there, and now Cleveland does have it.
Where's the quad ball? Oh, it's back there. Okay. It's like how poor charging the hoops, but he didn't have anything with him.
Yeah, I mean, he was trying to make the cut so that they could make the long pass if they wanted to, or at least pull defenders, but
Yeah. I like Paupour's positioning on the wings. They can get that cross, but with his zone at the hoops, he doesn't really have a play off of it.
Rochester should look back to reset into the middle here, I think. Yep, there it is. Good pressure. Oh, that's it. They should score on that. Nice.
Yeah.
So Cleveland beater fixated on the Rochester beater and tried to get control there. Made the beat and maybe got control off of it, but allowed the goal as a result. So we are at 18 minutes, 10 seconds, getting pretty close to that flag runner coming out. We're looking at a very different game than we did last time.
Once again, we have a Cleveland timeout.
Yeah, Rochester really doesn't like using theirs.
No. Rochester, I think, just wants to play their game. Oh, sorry, I was time's a bit off. It is 19:30, so this is
So this is very much to prep for flag runner coming.
Oh yeah. So we did see Cleveland seeking a bit defensively. Whenever the Rochester seeker was in the area, they had the stiff arm out, not wanting them to get any space, relying on their beaters to clear them out and go for the one-on-one. I'm not sure I don't think we saw Rochester doing the same. I think Rochester was down to scrap.
Yeah, I mean, Rochester was very much using their dodgeballs to control the space and just try to get open looks. But the downside of that is, as they sent the seeker back over and over and over, I think the Cinch kind of lost track of them and managed to take advantage of the chaos coming back in.
Yeah, the flag runner, did a good job of holding that one. But we'll see what happens this game. Still got another 30 seconds.
It will likely look very different once the flag runner comes on pitch than it did last game, both because the score is different and because the Cleveland beaters have been doing a much, much better job of holding and utilizing their control. It'll be interesting to see how Rochester responds to that dynamic.
So it looks like dodgeball is flying back to the Riff side of the pitch. Lombardi with the quad ball, moving it up. Forgot to start the time again.
Secondary question here. Does Cleveland slow this down and make sure that this is the last possession before the stop? It looks like they do. I actually don't like that. I much prefer... No, I guess that does make sense. I would much rather have the quad ball starting the period so that you can apply pressure with it. Like, time was short enough that I don't think they had a good chance to try to do a quick possession, score, or give the ball up, because you don't want to just give it up for no reason.
I think at the end of the day, I'd rather, use your offensive possession wisely than try to time it.
Yeah.
But we are going to see a set score of 140, a little bit lower than last game.
which is funny because it's been a much higher scoring game.
Oh, yeah.
So as a reminder to folks who didn't see the first game, in the first game, Rochester got out to an early lead, had 90-30 at the break, but Cleveland played very, very well once the flag runner came on pitch and took advantage of sort of the chaos that was going on. So we'll have to see if Rochester can keep better control now that they're behind in the same position this time.
Yeah. Also, interestingly enough, I don't know if anyone scored when the flag runner was on pitch
They
last
did
game.
not, and we had probably 4 or 5 minutes before that catch happened.
Uh,
And beaters
yeah.
were very focused on the flag runner, so it was interesting to see that no one could drive through and finish something.
You know, I think we had a lot of scuffles and a lot of dog piles.
And a lot of balls dropped under contact.
A lot of balls dropped under contact. And we
Which,
had
I mean, it's hard to hold onto the ball when it's wet like this, especially when you're getting hit.
yeah, although I think the rain has stopped.
It has stopped, and the turf field usually does relatively well with the wetness, so like traction at least should be fine.
Let's see who we have donning the yellow for both of these teams. I cannot tell.
You can also see the Cleveland players throwing half-court equivalent throws in the back as warm-ups.
Yeah.
Clearly a fit for their MO. Oh, long pass from Rochester for the easy goal.
That brings it in.
Callahan does not get hit by that dodgeball, but Cleveland retains control. I think we might see a call in the beater play because it looked like Callahan thought that something had happened on that play.
Yeah.
But it might just, no, I think they're just retrieving the ball. Okay, it looks like there's no call on that, so we'll just see resumption of play.
Looks like Rochester immediately has a seeker substitution. And we got Ojo coming in.
So he had a lot of great looks last game. We'll see if he can close it out this time.
He did. And he's got some one-on-one time.
Oh, that's bad. So Rochester beater just missed the beat on the seeker, which is giving them time and space on the flag runner.
They do recover the quad ball, and it looks like they got the beat on the seeker. Ooh, and
Great dodge.
great dodge.
That Cleveland beater, what number is that?
Is that... Sorry, I was trying to... I think that's Sam Beefer from Cleveland,
Okay.
number 1.
Well, Sam Beefer is holding down the flag runner very, very well.
Holding down the flag runner, had a lot of great jumps this game.
And now we're resetting with the quaffle on the ground right next to the Cleveland hoops. And
Yeah.
no dodge balls in sight, I do not believe. Rochester got inside line on the ball, but thought to pick it up, turn and shoot. Looks like a favorable position for them, but we'll see how it goes. Rochester scoops, turns, easy goal. And at the same time, Sam finally loses a beater duel, and Rochester reclaims control over the flag runner area and regains dodgeball control.
And speaking of regaining control, for the first time this series, Cleveland is no longer in the lead. We have a tie game.
Game, not series.
The game, as I said. Ojo gets beat. Callahan throws a beat.
Cleveland's getting a shot. Oh, that's another missed beat by Rochester.
Oh,
And there's a chance, but doesn't quite get it. Callahan comes back in, gets rid of the seeker, and this time Rochester gets their shot.
yeah. Ojo's been going at it for a bit. Cleveland, meanwhile, is throwing in the committee.
Oh, was that Ashley with the dunk?
I think it was Ashley, yeah. Definitely celebrating like it. Callahan doing work.
Callahan
There's
doing work and knowing exactly when the other blooder's on the ground so he can make moves.
Yeah. Callahan is the only... Ooh, look at Rochester not picking up that second dodgeball. Ooh, great catch. Callahan gets hit. Callahan does get hit. motioning at the ref, as he does.
Great block by Sam. Sam is absolutely killing it in the flag runner on
Yeah.
pitch.
Oh, great
no.
catch from Brandt. Yeah, that looks pretty clean.
For a second, I didn't think he had it. I thought Bojo was just taking off the stopped flag runner, but
Yeah. It's like a lot of conversations about beaters.
I mean,
don't-
both beaters are over here. Neither of them were making throws into that play.
No, I think they're talking about a previous play.
Okay.
I don't think anything will come of that. Rochester with the 10-point lead, but Cleveland, I think, about to go up 25.
Definitely looks that way. We'll have to wait for the call, but I'd be a little surprised if it wasn't called good.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
That was sorry, I was wrong on the, let's see, 64, Gabe Boris getting the catch for Cleveland.
It is interesting. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen either Kiefer or Kit step foot in Seeker at all. Just
Yep.
to give a different look, potentially.
I think Powpour has been instrumental for this comeback that Rochester has had later in this
That's
game.
definitely true. And we have a bit of a beater stand up here. Calvin immediately makes the throw. But Sam makes a smart toss back to hoops and retains control.
Meanwhile, Rochester throws it over the top. Cleveland gets the catch, has control, and has the quad ball. Things are looking up and up for the Riff. But Rochester has been making some moves ever since the flag runner joined. Let's see if they can keep that up. Kit with a tip. Don't know if anything's going to come of it.
Does not get it, but that was a great play by him.
Yeah, let him know. Put the fear in him.
That's a great pass down hoops. Great square pass. Can't quite control it. And Calvin comes and cleans up. Okay, so let's take a quick breath and see where we're at. Rochester needs to score 5 goals before Cleveland scores 3. Rochester has the quad ball, but Cleveland, I believe, still has dodgeball control, though I can't find
They
the third.
do. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not quite visible to the camera for a second there. But Rochester making sure not to cross over that midfield line. Shot's a bit high.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't like those over the top passes, but there wasn't anyone there, so it has to have been a shot.
Yeah, I think that's a shot. Wilson was behind there, but we'll see how Cleveland sets things up. Looks like we're gonna have a quick beater sub.
I do feel like one thing we've noticed during the flag runner and pitch period has been that Cleveland wasn't doing as much of their long passing. We'll see if they kick it back off, but nice pass over the top. His second pass over the top, and then nice shot to score.
Yeah.
I think one of those passes could have probably just been a shot instead, but it worked out.
Yeah. They got a bit fancy with it, but fancy works.
Cleveland's ahead, so they're saying only pretty goals.
Yep. $125.90 is the score. Cleveland is only 2 goals away from this one.
Nice jump by, I believe that was Sam again. Nice kick out, and should be an easy goal. Yep, there it is. Oh, and I believe that was Kit. Did a great job of deflecting the bludger or the dodgeball that was thrown at him after straight to his own sidelines.
Oh. We see Lombardi tries to get the fast break.
He's
Keeper
gonna run with that.
Keeper's back on first time in a while. Lombardi gets another hit. Gets taken out.
They've got bludgers though.
Yeah, Kiefer starts slowing down. Hopped in on the side. There's the throw. Let's see if we can get the recovery after this.
They do recover the ball. They don't really have anywhere to. Oh, great pass. A little bit high, but great idea.
Yeah.
So you may have noticed that Cleveland committed to taking out all of the backline chasers to make sure that there wasn't passing options, forcing that pass over the top of the hoops.
Yeah, Cleveland's had a good look this game. definitely coming. It's come in waves. Teams kind of been fighting back. Rochester's really wanted that. I think that flag runner to stay on pitch for as long as possible because it's really when they're doing the most work in the quad
I
ball
mean,
game.
really, they'd like to catch it, but that
Yeah.
has not been happening today so far. Okay, so coming off of that, we are 125 to 100. We have. Where's the third dodgeball? Oh, Rochester has control. I
Yes,
think?
Rochester has 2. The green
It's hard to see.
green kind of blends in with the whiteout
And the field.
and the field.
Lombardi makes the short pass, kicked back to him. Makes a fake, cuts across, trying to get a lane for a shot. Gets in, and that is in. Cleveland is 1 goal away from winning this game.
Yeah. And the dodgeballs are flying. I think Cleveland is going to end up with 2.
So the question is, can Cleveland clean this
what?
up more effectively than Rochester for the last game?
Rochester.
Rochester's playing fire here.
Oh, yeah. And over the top. Bounces on the hoop and does not go through. That is unfortunate.
Now Cleveland's got the ball with no dodgeball in their way. Oh no, there is one. Great hit. That was a necessary stop for Rochester to keep their game alive.
You know, Rochester needs 4 goals. It's an uphill battle.
They're gonna make that long pass.
Keeper.
Oh, that's way too high.
Yeah.
Keeper's been struggling a bit with his throws today.
Yeah, there's not really been many. There's been a lot of shots on the top hoop for Rochester, and I'm not sure if one has gone through. Yeah. I thought the side hoops are doing a lot better.
I think Ashley had one on the top or the middle hoop.
Yeah. I just went to the top one. Oh, wait, you mean the middle, as in? Yeah, not the middle on height.
That is no good.
Oh. Bit of a saving grace for Rochester.
We've got a stoppage. I don't think that's their ball. I think they're trying to make sure that
I do believe they're trying to make sure the goal was not good. Is that a time? Oh, that was game?
No, I think.
Oh, no, yeah. 27-42, Rochester timeout. Okay. Oh, yeah, well, Rochester.
They finally used it.
Yeah.
They almost waited a couple seconds too long there. But yeah, I mean, you can definitely understand why they're taking it. Their backs are against the wall. They allow a goal, they lose. And they need to get 4.
They need to get 4.
That's a tough spot to be in.
They do have 2 dodgeballs and the quad ball.
But they can't afford to be too aggressive with them.
They cannot afford to be too aggressive. They cannot get fast broke. But Kiefer needs to put this through the hoop. Or give it off to Stonish. Back to Kiefer. Starts moving.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rochester's getting ready to challenge high.
You know,
Which,
challenge.
I mean, they want to get a turnover fast break.
They have been having a lot of trouble scoring into this Cleveland zone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, their shots have just not been falling, and they're not really driving through the zone well. So I can definitely understand wanting to get transitional opportunities. And this might be it.
Well, they are against 2 dodgeballs, and Kiefer does not look like he wants to play the fast break. Now there's dodgeballs on the
All
ground,
over
though.
on the ground. That should be it. They should drive in. They should kick that ball out to the outside. Oh, it's over. He shot it over the top again. Cleveland is very committed to ensuring that they have that zone on their hoops, and Cody probably needs to pass that ball instead of shooting it from there. He's either got to drive it and get in closer, or he's got to kick out someone who can get a one-on-one at the hoop.
Well, it looks like we just had a yellow card for Cleveland's keeper. So it looks like Cody Kiefer will have a second opportunity.
Did you hear what the purpose was?
Contact below the knee.
Ah, okay.
I think Kiefer,
Where are the dodgeballs here?
there's...
We've got time and space to accelerate. He should get this.
Yeah, this needs to go on for Rochester.
Yep.
Yep. Puts it away.
Okay, they just need 3 more without allowing one.
Yeah.
So Cleveland's back to full strength. We have Joe Lombardi coming on, I think.
Oh, that is a ding. Yep, that is a red card. That was a hit too early. That is a helpless receiver play.
He'll be helping this receiver. It might just be a yellow.
It might be a yellow. That is a yellow. Okay.
Yeah, so I think the reason for that is Joe touched the ball before he got hit.
He did touch the ball. Okay. Still rough news for Rochester's defense, but
Definitely not what they want there.
no. Rochester needs to hit here.
Good
No.
pressure, good pressure. Oh, did that? No, that's. Oh, great block. But the second one goes. That is probably Cleveland game.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. So, I didn't want to say this before they closed it out, but for some brief history on these two teams, the game, the state of play coming to say is that Rochester leads the series between these two teams 12-3, and Cleveland has never won a game at Rochester.
Yep.
So, big win for Cleveland and sets them up for a climactic game 3 right after this.
Yeah. So we'll be going away for a bit. We will let you know once we find out when the next game is going to be. I'd assume maybe 10 or 15 minute break. Give these players time to rest, and then we'll come back to you whenever that is. So, have a good one, and come back for Game 3 of this exciting series.
Quad ball is a sport that integrates aspects from rugby, basketball, and dodgeball to create a fast-paced, mixed-gender game that features 7 players per side. Okay, so quad ball is played on a grass or turf field with 3 hoops of varying heights on each team's half. There's 4 balls in quad ball, 1 quaffle, and 3 bludgers, and the players run with brooms between their legs and must complete all the play while on broom. If a player comes off broom at any point, they have to tag the center hoop on their team's half before resuming play. Alright, so there's a lot of different positions. The first 2 are chasers and keepers, known together as quaffle players. They use the quaffle, a slightly deflated volleyball, to try to score through their opponent's hoops. There are 3 chasers per team, and they wear a white headband, and there's 1 keeper per team, and they wear a green headband. The keeper is only different in they can't be interfered with in their team's keeper zone, which is an area around the hoops when they possess the quaffle. On offense, all 4 players move the quaffle by running and
Welcome back. We are coming into Game 3 of Cleveland vs. Rochester. The series is 1-1, and it has been a very interesting series so far. Cleveland started out slow in the first game, but found their offensive rhythm in the second. It's time to see if Rochester can make adjustments and come back. We have brooms up. It looks like Cleveland's got the quad ball, and they will also come up with the dodgeball control.
Yeah, and this is the last. I'm not entirely sure, but I want to say this is the last series before the North Championships.
I believe that's correct. And this game has major implications for seeding going into that event.
Yeah, and these teams are they're not fighting for the title. That's going to be between Toronto and the Chicago. Sorry, not Toronto. Yeah, the Toronto Raiders and the Chicago Prowl. But if you want to go to MLQ Championships, you're going to have to show up at that North Championship.
Oh,
Cleveland puts
Cleveland.
a quick one away. And whatever team wins today has a much easier path in front of them heading into that North Championship.
So Rochester's spreading out. They've got Chaser cutting by the hoops, but they're being picked up by Cleveland. Beaters are coming in to try to make a play. That does not pan out for them. So they have made a short pass behind the hoops, but they're about to be faced with probably a Cleveland fast break, except they do slow it down enough to get a beater back. Nice beat by Cleveland. Just Lombardi with the ball on the outside, looking for a cut behind the hoops. Cut is there, but he kicks it back out to the middle. Cleveland keeper has options on both wings, as well as Joe on the short pass. And he goes with Joe.
Looks like Corey Johnson from Cleveland.
Fakes the pass over the top and instead makes the short pass. Looking for that square pass to the far hoop, but doesn't really like the looks of his shot there. Over the top. Pass goes through. I think that was a shot, but Rochester's going to come up with the ball.
I'm going to say that was a pass. Either way, there's a bit of a beater scuffle in the middle of the pitch as this was going on. A bit of a dog pile.
Oh, Cleveland's ball back. I'm not quite sure why.
Same. Maybe a beater foul?
Okay. Joe takes the throw, comes out to the outside. Doesn't have much help because 2 of his focal players have been beat. One comes back in, makes the square pass to them. Ball comes back to Joe. He's looking, gets beat. Beater aggressing on the outside, forces that long throw, almost works out, but it's going to dribble out of bounds. Good pressure there.
Cleveland, once again, running 1.5. I guess it is, it was very in the meta back in the day as a way to exert control without risking your budget control.
But we haven't really seen it played that way in years at this point, just because it's so easy to dance around and just aggress against the one exposed beater.
It's very easy to dance around, and people spend half of the game anyway trying to deal with a beater without a dodgeball. So you're pretty used to it. It's not that intimidating. But I guess that when Cleveland doesn't want to risk losing possession, I guess it's really the only thing left.
Yeah, and they very much don't want to risk it. And
Yeah.
Rochester's willing to be very aggressive, even when they only have the one ball. So, yeah, if you're trying to preserve control at all costs, like that's kind of the only way you can create pressure.
Yeah. Although I'm not sure if they need to, preserve control at all costs, because we saw Cleveland do work, even with only one dodgeball last game.
We did. I mean, Sam Beeler from Miami has been on fire over the last game.
Absolutely.
So I think we have a stoppage for an injury. We had a player sub out, player come back in. Maybe we're fixing groups. No, we're just grabbing a dodgeball and returning it to where it was before the whistle was blown.
It's like Ashley Dolan and Callanan, I think, have control here.
Callahan. Did they finish? They did not.
Callanan with some needless aggression still keeps the still keeps the dodgeball.
Oh, was that?
Oh, beat before?
Or
It's beat before on Estrada.
great play by Estrada though. I mean, defender tipped that ball, which is great on them. Still managed to get it. Couldn't quite get it in time, but Estrada did everything they could in that situation.
Yeah, very much so.
Cleveland's swinging the ball to the outside, looking for that pass over the top. It's a little bit too high, and it's gonna probably go out.
Yeah.
There it is.
I like the idea.
And Rochester is posturing a little bit aggressively on that, but decided not to run with it. They've got an option over the top. We've got a stoppage. Someone's getting a card on this.
I think this is on Cleveland. Illegal SWAT. Blue cards are 30 seconds in the box, which is a rule that I did not know about. Not sure if that's one of the rule additions this year or I am out of touch.
Okay, so Rochester with the one-player advantage, trying to see what they can do here. Callanan's got the ball. Lots of balls on the ground. Walks up, takes a nice shot. That evens the score at 10. And Rochester walks away with control. Where's the green ball?
Green ball as elusive as always. I don't think Rochester has control.
Okay, seriously, where is it?
I do not know where this green ball is. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, Cleveland has it. So much different. All three games, very different looks. Game 1, Rochester takes the lead. Game 2, Cleveland scraps it out with a high scoring lead. But now we're sitting here 10-10, almost 5 minutes in.
Ooh, mid-range shot is no good. It slips out of bounds. Yep, that's going to be called out.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. Do you feel like we've had less offensive possessions? I think teams are taking it a bit slower than last game.
So I think we saw a very slow first game in terms of offensive possessions. I think the second game had a much higher pace. I think this game is somewhere between the two.
Yeah, I think this game seems like the optimal amount. I think teams are going a bit too fast and a bit too slow at times.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. It's been interesting because I like up-tempo offenses generally, but you need to have a strong drive threat for that to work, and neither team has really been successful on their drives today. It slips through and makes a nice short shot.
Yeah, and if you
Got stoppage.
if you look at the Rochester lineup right here, this is not their driving line.
No.
This is very much the finesse line, and I think that Kit played that. I think that's the game plan.
Yeah, I mean, Kit's not going to just drive through an entire defense on his own, but he is very elusive. If he has passing options that they have to commit to and give him an isolated one-on-one, he can win that ISO play and score.
Yeah. Ooh, Cleveland player runs off the field. It's a little bit. Lombardi moving it up, taking up the right side. Cleveland's flank as always. We got 7 behind the hoops. That looks like the option. And we have a
Joe's going out for the swing
Alright.
and then going behind the hoops as per usual. Pressure from Rochester goes over the top. They should be looking for that shot, and it is in.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that is the Cleveland set offense. You run to the side, you pass straight, you pass. I don't know how to describe this very well.
So
but-
I think Cleveland runs 2 very different offenses depending on who the ball handler on the field is. Because Joe likes the shorter passes, he likes going over the top, he likes those mid-range shots on the top hoop. Whereas their other offense is more of the long passes, cutting into the hoops, trying to do 1 pass plays as opposed to 2 pass plays a lot of the time.
It's also big when Gaffney's on the field because Gaffney is really crashing into the side hoops a lot.
Yeah. Pressure coming in from the Rochester beater, or from the Cleveland beaters. Great play to get their stop there by Cleveland. Rochester pulling back, and Cleveland retains control.
So let's see if we're going to have the same setup again. We got 26 going to his spot, but Cleveland's other chaser is looking for a different option. This is a bit of a different look.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised.
Is Joe going to cross? Is that the plan?
I mean, so all day Joe has had that forward left pass, and he has never taken it.
Yeah. That's also the first handoff I've seen there.
Nice beat. They retain control. Beats his own defender, and weaves through traffic for the goal. Yeah, so we haven't seen many handoffs. We've seen a couple of picks from Rochester side, but none of them have really been helpful.
No.
So both teams are generally doing fairly spread offenses.
Yeah. I think the problem, like Rochester had the beat on the teammate there, but
Zach is sprinting and then just throws the ball. Unfortunately, his cutter had stopped earlier and isn't continuing that run.
yeah, bit unfortunate. Bit of a dropped pass by Lombardi.
It's just like we're gonna use the drops now rather than later.
Yeah. No pressure dropping the 5-footer in the keeper zone. Beater's moving up the middle. Let's see if they go 1.5 here or try to exert some pressure. I think they're going to throw here. Question is who?
Oh, almost had the catch there. Joe goes deep, make the pass short, but Kiefer immediately is ready there. Cleveland is struggling a little bit to pick up the ball.
A bit of that's bit of a struggle there. Does give the Rochester defense time to reset. Cleveland had 2 people get hit, so they're stalling, waiting for them.
But at the end of the day, nothing really changed there. I mean, Cleveland kept control.
Yep.
They had time to get their players back in. They beat out some players at the top. They're creating space towards the far side of the hoop. Joe goes deep. They make the pass into this cut, but Ben reads it perfectly and gets into the way.
Kramer moving up. Let's see if we get some aggression out of Rochester. That's 1.5 on defense?
Yeah, I can't say I've seen that. I was gonna say recently, but I think it's more like ever.
I don't think I've seen that ever, and I don't really want to see it again.
Yeah, not quite sure what the idea was there. Nice goal from Sobel Pressman from Rochester. We're at 30-30, just before the 10-minute mark. Which is interesting, because we are primed to have the lowest scoring game going to the flag runner. But it doesn't feel like this has been a less offensive game. Nice build by Cleveland.
Cleveland will pull ahead. Up 10 at the 10-minute mark.
So Rochester has controlled the dodgeballs, which they have struggled to get this game. So we'll see if they can do something with that. Got Cody Kiefer possessing the ball. Rochester's playing pretty shallow here, and you saw Astonish from Rochester come in and just get in the Cleveland defenders' faces and try to move them a bit. Rochester staying shallow, trying to create space for a drive.
Ooh, I think the chaser is going to get the stop there.
Oh, but Astonish comes up with the ball and he'll score that. Not quite sure how he got the ball, but good job to him on that.
I am also not quite sure.
So we're at 40-40. Cleveland with the quad ball, Rochester with dodgeball control. Cleveland makes the long pass up the sideline, but Beater is there waiting for it.
Okay, so let's take a quick stock of the action. Kiefer's in looking to get a bit physical, but there's the big pass to
And
Hopton.
he's going to look for that swing across. Oh, no, he doesn't go for it.
Doesn't like the look of it. Take the reset.
And Rochester Beaters just gave up control. Great pass. Gets deflected. Rochester still gets the rebound, and I think that's in.
I think that was Wilson. Puts it through the hoop. And, losing Rochester has said this series time and time again, they are fine losing control for a goal. They're fine losing it for the score. They're fine losing it for the stop. It's not best case scenario, but they're willing to lose it and try to get it back.
We have a short stop as we try to fix the hoops. Thankfully, this issue is emerging out in the third game, not in the first.
Yeah. Hoop is broken. I don't know if it's permanent broken or they're trying to fix it. But due to a ref conversation, I think the goal's likely gonna stand. Yeah, no change. looks like we might need to break out the duct tape.
Well, luckily we sent it back down already.
Did send it back down, making sure our press room setup is nice and organized up here. Very grateful for the press box at Rockport. Kept us nice and dry and kept our equipment safe from the elements.
Yeah, I love not running electric lines through torrential downpours. So it's looking like it might take a little bit for them to fix that hoop.
Oh yeah, so we got essentially a equipment timeout, and this is looking like a pretty close game.
Yeah, I mean, they've been trading punches back and forth for a bit now. They're even at 30, even at 40. Rochester's down to 50 first, but we'll see if Cleveland follows.
Yep. Yeah, no point in this game has anyone ever gotten that 20-point lead.
Which, I mean, if this continues and it continues to be this close, Rochester's got to be a little nervous, right? Because they haven't pulled a flag runner yet today.
They've not pulled a flag runner yet today. They're really going to want, a 40-point lead, at least a 30 if you're in that situation. We have seen Ojo every game coming out as the main flag runner or flag grabber.
And he's gotten good looks. It's just he hasn't quite been able to get it.
No.
Although, so I also think that every time we've seen a catch, both seekers have been on the flag runner at the same time.
They have.
Ojo has gotten a lot of looks, but it's one-on-one, and those are much harder to pull.
Yeah.
That they might want to be more careful and not let the other seeker get those 2-on-1 looks.
The other interesting thing is that Rochester was thriving last game in that flag runner on pitch scenario. Maybe Rochester pulls out the defense from Ojo, use those long arms, keep the other seeker at bay, and then use that time to have their chasers run up the quad ball score.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. Like, if I'm looking at this Rochester team, I definitely want them to be more conservative and make sure that the other seeker doesn't get shots while they're on it.
Yeah.
Like, let him be defensive. If they have chances to remove the other seeker and give him a one-on-one, great, but, like, can't allow those chances for the other team.
Yeah.
They've done very well with executing on them.
They have, and Rochester is a very young team, but their beater line and flag runner on pitch of Callan and Kramer is one of the most experienced beater lines in the game.
Well, I mean, Kramer's coming out of retirement, so like.
Sure, Kramer's coming out of retirement. The game has changed a lot. There's a lot of different rules. There was not two-hand tackling last time Kramer was on the pitch, as far as I remember.
But he still seems to be doing pretty well with it.
He's stayed active, having that endurance, especially in the third game of the day. Flag runner on pitch, stressful scenario. Having that athleticism will always help.
Yeah. Okay, looks like we are getting ready to start back up. We do have 3 hoops on each side again, so we are ready to go.
That is the good number to have. No more, no less. And teams had, we can treat this really as a timeout. Teams had good 2 minutes there to talk strategy. And it's interesting having that strategy talk when I don't think either of them are doing anything that wrong at the moment. They're not getting run over. No team is really pulling away with it.
So as we reset, was that goal called good before? Because Rochester seems to be starting with the ball.
I have not had clarification from the scorekeepers that goal is no good. But in the meantime, we'll just keep acting as if it was.
Okay, so Rochester's got the ball in the key. They've got 2 behind, as they tend to do. Cody's running around a bunch. Kiefer.
As he is wont to do. Pass over to Zobel Pressman.
Lots of pressure there. Manages to get the ball out.
Oh, does Kiefer have
Kiefer takes the shot, and it is
No, that's not good.
no good. We have a stoppage to get the ball back in play, I assume, as it enters the football line zone.
Kiefer did put some force behind that shot. I'd say I want to see it take a step forward, but, with 3 chasers on the hoops and the beater up top, he does kind of have to rip that shot with force in order to try to get a chance.
Yeah, he had a good opening. It was probably worth taking.
Yeah. It is a numbers game.
So, Cleveland coming back up. They have chaser wide and deep on the left and right. Looks like they're going to set up so that they will have the chaser cutting into the short hoop and swinging it behind potentially. Or to the far right hoop, rather. They take a handoff. Make a pass over the top, which is caught. Swing it to the outside, and that was good, I think. I see one ref signaling good.
There is no whistle.
Okay. The head ref does not believe it was in. And Rochester picks off. Keeper is running on the outside. Running the beater. He's looking for that cross. He sees it. Oh, the other beater's there.
Does Rochester run up to try to get the dodgeball in there? Yeah. Valiant attempt. Do they have... Yes, Tomlin has the dodgeball. Yeah, score is correct. It is 50-40 Rochester. And so the goal was no good.
Okay, so Cleveland's stepping back up. They had control, but they are not being too aggressive with it right now. They've got one beater protecting the thoughtful carrier and just creating space. Beating up a point defender. And then they make a short pass. all of their passing options are pretty deep or very short. They don't really have anything in the middle, so they take a long
Ooh.
shot. It's picked off.
That's I think a one-handed catch by Kiefer. Fast break though, because Rochester's beaters made a good play.
Short pass and nice finish.
So that was, I missed who it was, but Rochester's beater at the time, I think might have just subbed off, so I'm not going to figure it out. But great beater play in the middle of the pitch, which allowed for Kiefer to make that conversion.
Joe Lombardi back on for Cleveland with the ball. Makes a short pass. They've got a deep pass over the top. They want to take it, but they do not at this time. Oh, that's a drop pass, giving Rochester the ball, and they could run with that if they want. They're checking it out. They realize where the one opposing dodgeball is, and they're just going to drive that in. Yep, that's the dunk.
And you need that timing because the second dodgeball just made its way to mid-pitch for Cleveland.
Rochester continues to maintain dodgeball control.
And so
Very well played by them.
we talked, and we had our nice conversation during the equipment timeout about how close this game was. We said Rochester wants a 30, 40-point lead if they get to a flag runner on pitch, and Rochester has made it to 30.
Yeah, they've been playing well the last couple minutes. I kind of wish that they took timeouts in the other two games.
Yeah, the timeouts do seem valuable.
Cleveland with a great pass on the hoops. Good square pass.
Tip to the top. Palpour has an opening here.
Yeah, he's going to drive on that. Oh, he slowed down.
Ooh, Lombardi's got a hand.
He's got to kick it off to someone else at this point. He's lost momentum.
He looks like he's going to take a shot. Keeper's to the side. Hopkins up top.
Oh, good dodge. Finish that. Nice. Very nice roll there.
Rochester's offense is truly firing at all cylinders. Oh, I heard that right there. Cleveland takes that timeout.
Good choice on their part. I mean, they've just allowed 4 unanswered goals. Like,
3. Oh wait, well it's
It was
one. It was one before the timeout. It was 40-50 during the
yeah.
equipment timeout. But yeah, no, it was actually 4 unanswered.
yeah, so they take some time. They'll adjust here. I think it's a smart call. They've still got about 3.5 minutes until we get the flag runner on field.
Exactly 3.5. And it'll be interesting. Rochester's quad ball has looked great in flag runner on pitch, but Cleveland has come up with the catch 2 out of 2.
Well, so I'm actually going to challenge that statement a little because they looked great in the second game, but in the first game they could not score during the flag runner.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, in the first game, no one scored during the flag runner on pitch. Yeah, I mean, if you're Rochester, what are you talking about? Good job, keep it up. Let's get back out there.
I think if you're Rochester, you're already talking about the flag runner on pitch because that is the risk factor for them, and they want to be planning out how do we make sure we have bludgers or dodgeball control going into that? What are we doing with our offense? How are we managing this? Because they will have the stoppage there to talk about it more. But they want to make sure that they're going into a controlled position.
Yeah, but at the same time, you just scored 3 unanswered goals. I don't think you want to stop thinking about the present.
That's true.
I think you want to play some music and hope
Driving another 2 or 3.
Yeah, hope the next minute flies by and you can keep this pressure up. So if you keep this cooking, you don't really need that possession going into flag runner on pitch.
No, that's definitely true.
But I don't know if you want to bank on getting another 3 unanswered in the next 3. Yeah.
Cleveland walking up. Let's see what adjustments they've made. Lombardi with the ball. He's probably going to make this short square pass. No, he's just holding on to it. It's going to go behind the hoops. They're looking for the swing around that side, but there's a stoppage.
Yeah, not quite sure. Ooh, it looks like... Oh, I'm going to guess illegal swat on Palpour.
Yep.
Palpour does like the swat.
Okay, so we have Quaffle behind the hoops. We had a cutter coming in, but the passing angle is actually pretty rough there. Rochester got into good position to stop. They make the pass in. Oh, he beats Kiefer, but they pick off the pass, and he's going to run with that. There is no beater in his way. Goes backside. There he goes. That's a goal.
You know, 2 for 2. It hasn't quite paid off, but Lombardi has really acted as a solid roadblock on these fast breaks.
Yeah, I mean, he's not stopping them, but he's slowing them down enough to let the rest of his team get involved. And he's not getting beaten, and that's an important thing.
Yeah.
Also, I believe it was Lombardi who had a great stop on keeper last game.
He did. Yeah, and you know, we talked about, although it is no longer a rainy day here in Rochester, but we talked about how important it is to be good in the scrappiness. And Lombardi has defined a lot of his career on being good in the scrappiness and those long shots.
Yeah, he absolutely has. So Rochester's taking out a couple of the options here. Pressing. I think they hit on that.
Dodgeballs are on the ground. Tomlin has the only one in a hand.
Lombardi, he gets beat, and Rochester's going to drive off that.
Well-
There's one bludger on that side, or dodgeball.
All dodgeballs are in Cleveland's half the pitch. But can they stop how poor?
The answer is no.
Well, the answer is maybe, because we got a Riff conversation.
As we take a quick pause to figure out whether or not that was a goal, we're sending at 18 minutes with the score either 100 to 40 or 90 to 40. So Rochester has ballooned this lead from when they were 40-40 about 6 minutes ago.
Yeah, and it's hard to say what Rochester did differently, besides the fact that these shots are going in. Rochester spent a lot of this series throwing a bit high on the top hoop.
Well, actually, I think there's a very clear defined answer, which is most of these goals have been in transition. Very few of them have been attacking the set Cleveland zone.
That is true. But they still have at least 1 or 2 attacking that set Cleveland zone that have been stopping them so well.
That's true. And those goals have mostly been sort of mid-range shots at the back.
Yeah. So then the question is, what have they been doing differently to get themselves set up for these transitions?
Well, so it's a couple things. Cleveland had dodgeball control for a lot of this game, and their zone defense is way harder to deal with when they have control.
That is true.
The long shot is good by Joe Lombardi. Joe says 2 things. Play it back.
Yeah. No, it's stopping straight out of bounds.
So we are 100 to 50, Rochester lead.
So that is Cleveland's first goal since that 12-minute stoppage.
Yeah, we joked about Rochester continuing to pour in the points, and they did a bit, but now Cleveland at least has gotten on the board since then.
You know, it's very heartening to get that first goal in a bit. We'll see if Lombardi can follow it up with another quick one after this. But most
Rochester's
importantly,
going over the top. Should swing that out to the side. Okay.
oh,
Didn't really do too much.
the pick was not too effective.
But Rochester Chaser gets through both, drives to the hoops, and they finish.
Is that Estrada? Because that Rochester Chaser just posterized. But posterized. He really postured on them. But that was incredible work right there. She just danced around 2 chasers.
We have a stoppage. Not entirely sure what for. I think someone might be stepping up for blood or injury or something of that nature.
Yeah, I've had quite a few of those. I wonder if it's, player with a bloody nose keeps getting
Definitely
popped
could
out.
be. Better turf burns. Those are the worst.
There was a lot of turf burn, yeah.
So we're standing at 110 to 50. About 45 seconds left until the snitch runner comes on pitch. Cleveland's got to get a goal here. Joe Lombardi
Yeah.
with the ball. He's got a cross pass, but Rochester could potentially jump that.
The other question really is going to be, we're almost entering the final 30 seconds, and it's all going to be about who has these dodgeballs before the flag runner gets into the fray.
He's taking nice and slow, which I think is the right call here. I think they should swing it to the outside here.
I think Lombardi's just going to rip a shot. I do love he does a bit of like a stomp when he fakes a throw.
The question is, does he do that when he actually throws?
No.
Shot by Lombardi.
here, we are live. Did they put the score bug? We'll find out. Casey with the ball. No good. They hit the score bug on me. That's delightful. Alright, apologize for technical errors in the meantime.
Has the dodgeballs. Stonish has the yellow headband. Let's see if they can do some work this game.
You're just not prepared most of the time.
So sorry about the technical difficulties. Nothing we can really do about those in Rochester. Need to resolve those. Um, okay, so I'm going to start a recording here. So if you hear this, we are recording this locally to the streaming laptop just in case. Oh, it looks like we are back.
The quaffle. Says it back behind for Morimoto. You press by Mansfield, swinging around up top.
a 2-minute timeout for the equipment, and it really just they just went on a roll since then.
Okay, so coming back in, Cleveland has control of the dodgeballs at least, and they do have the quad ball. Lots of pressure from Rochester, forcing Cleveland to just put up a bad throw, which is a turnover back to Rochester.
Looks like Ojo with the quad ball and marching down into 2 dodgeballs.
He's going to slow down a bit because his chasers didn't have time to spread out and create good options for him.
Alright, apologies for the technical difficulties. We pick up with New Orleans 40, Kansas City 20. Kansas City with the ball. Moving around. A lot of player action going down low, driving in. Breaking through and in. Kansas City making it a 10-point game. Nice drive there by Jackson Purdue.
Find it. Oh, breaks through pressure, makes that pass. They can't quite control it. Rochester should come up with the ball there. They do. And now Rochester should be able to time out that penalty. Oh, nope, they already did. Rochester's back to full strength. Rochester's got a deep passing option if they want it. They do not want to. They're just passing around that side, trying to give their beaters chances to make plays, to get control back. That was a bit of a risky pass, but it works out. They can probably go in on that. Nope. Nice beat there. And there are no beaters, so Cleveland's going to drive on that. Nice defensive effort there by Rochester Chaser, but it's not enough. Cleveland drives through and scores. And we have a stoppage probably just to get the quad ball back on the pitch. Rochester did come out of that play with dodgeball control back.
I think the stream is hopefully back up. Sorry about all of this. We do have a recording of flag runner on pitch onward. Figure out how to upload that and deal with that in the future.
Rochester back into the hoop. Short is no good. Blocked by Cleveland.
To give a quick summary, Kit Powpour had the catch for Rochester, and Rochester is looking at 2 points to end this.
But Cleveland's fighting through. I mean,
Yeah.
they've not been scored on since the pull, and they have scored and gotten control of dodgeball. So
Yeah,
some good movement from them.
similar to game 2,
Great pass.
Rochester put up a lot of goals. Yeah, there is the fast break. Beat before? Oh,
Oh, missed beat.
that missed. Okay, bit of confusion. To summarize it, what I was about to say is, flag runner on pitch, Powpour had the pull, and Rochester kind of ran up the score in the quad ball game. A lot of transitional drives running down the pitch. But then since the pull, things have been pretty calm on the Rochester side. Cleveland scored 1, and Rochester's looking to score their first since. A bit cavalier, but if it works,
stop at the hoop.
if it works, it works. Doesn't work, okay. Now Cleveland has a chance at the transitional play, though. A big hit from Rochester. Can they take him down?
Oh,
great hit.
They take him down to stop the bludger from hitting him as a result.
And it is a bit unfortunate, but all's well that ends well. Lukowski picks it up. So will Pressman, dancing around a bit.
I mean, they're stuck going into the Cleveland zone with control. They have struggled all day to deal with this.
They have.
Cleveland makes a nice stop. It's risky for them. Like, they let Rochester come in and take shots, but
Yeah.
they do a pretty good job of containing them.
And, this many goals to go for Cleveland. Rochester is fine, trading this control away for one of them, getting it back and trying to trade it again.
Oh, easily. I mean, Rochester does that under almost any circumstances.
That's true. They do that when they don't just need 2 to win.
So Rochester's running with that. We've got dodgeball in the middle and one down on the ground. Dropped pass is unfortunate for Rochester. They turn, make a shot, is no good, but the follow-on is good.
Looks like Kiefer hits the bottom of the hoop, bounces up. Refs have a quick discussion, make sure that's the case.
I think they're also just trying to fix the hoop.
They did. Yep. Goal is good. This is a different hoop, thankfully. It is the far hoop that was causing us problems back at 12 minutes into this one.
So, Rochester, 1 goal left to win the game. Can they eliminate the third hoop?
Hopefully not. I do want to get some food after this. Who's chanting big boy tackle?
So, Cleveland with the ball.
Let's see if,
Looking to drive. I'm hearing chants of big boy tackle, so we'll see if there is one.
I think it was from Cleveland, though.
Great.
Don't really know. Oh, they're saying the quad ball moved after.
Oh, so he got beat, dropped the ball.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, this is the goal that Rochester needs to make their journey at North Champs just that bit easier.
For options, aggressive beaters coming in. Ball behind, looking for, can't quite control it. And dodgeballs everywhere. Beaters coming in hot.
Looks like Cleveland's got a bit of a fast break. No, Sobel Pressman with the hand tips it up.
Meanwhile, 2 bludgers on the ground, but at Cleveland hoops. And Rochester not pressing, so they should be able to get them and get back in position before the attack comes. What's up, Preston? John back?
I think that's Ashley Dolan. Yes. Especially through this screen.
Yeah. Rochester with the ball behind the hoops, looking for options. Lots of pressure up top, and they.
We're gonna see throw the ball at it. Yeah, my favorite play. Lombardi looks out of it.
Did not look good.
No, I don't know if there was a collision there. Just kind of
took a bad step.
tossed around. Yeah.
Rochester driving. No bludgers. And there is the game and the series. Rochester takes it 175 to 70.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. I'm sure as you saw the previews earlier, we do have the South Super Series going on this weekend. So feel free to hop over there. But as for the North Division, Rochester takes it. I think we'll see Rochester and Cleveland both head their way to North Championships in just a few weeks. And thanks for joining us. And that'll be it.